On day 1, I spawned into the frozen lakes as an Ice Witherstorm! Whoa! Even as a baby Ice Witherstorm, I'm pretty awesome! And thank goodness, because I don't feel cold out here either! But my celebrations were interrupted when I heard the flapping of mighty wings coming towards me! I looked up and saw a huge ice dragon floating in the air above me!
You!
Me?
Don't be funny with me, boyo. What's your name?
I'm Zozo, mister!
I'm Ivan the Ice Dragon, and that means ice is my thing. You think you can steal my thing, you wee little Witherstorm? I'll teach you what it means to be truly ice cold.
Ivan fired a huge ice blast down towards me. It nearly hit me, but I was lucky enough to dodge at the last second. Hey, you almost hit me.
Yeah, that's what we in the business call a warning shot, dummy. The next one will come when you least expect it. You want to keep the icy cred? You've got 100 days to earn it, or frostbite is gonna be the least of your worries.
He unleashed an even more powerful ice blast, and this time I just had to run for my life. Gotta beat Ivan, or he's gonna freeze me to my doom. On day 2, I wandered further across the frozen lakes. In weather this freezing, even I started to feel the cold. This is so embarrassing for an Ice Witherstorm. Maybe I just need some food. I only have 10 hearts. It's important to keep my hunger bar filled up. I searched across the frozen lakes until I finally found an apple tree. It's not easy to grow food in a place this cold, so I needed to enjoy everything I could get. I broke down the tree and ate some of the apples, solving the hunger situation. But it didn't solve the situation of a dread thrall charging out of the distance.
Enjoy those apples, you little baby. That's such a baby thing to do. Eat apples.
Is it? I'm not sure I follow your logic here.
It makes sense when you're a dread thrall, okay? It's like a cultural thing. Anyways, let's fight. Ivan told me that a Witherstorm was trying to jack his style. I owe it to him to put you down.
The dread thrall ran at me and unleashed some powerful attacks. I wasn't strong enough to fight him yet, so all I could do was break away from the fight and run for my life. I got out of there as fast as I could, but as I cowered behind a pile of snow, I heard something approaching. I was terrified, worried that it could be the dread thrall. Instead, a Cyclops stepped out.
Come with me if you want to live.
How could I deny an offer like that? On day 3, the Cyclops led me across a safe part of the frozen lakes, telling me to keep as quiet as possible.
You need to keep a low profile around here if you want to last. Ivan's dread thralls are all over the place.
Where are you taking me?
Shh, somewhere safe. That's all you need to know.
I kept quiet as the Cyclops led me. Then he suddenly stopped.
This is as far as I'll go. It's too dangerous for us all to be in one place. Go forward 50 paces and you'll see a dodo hippogriff at a campfire. Speak to him and then come back to me when you're done.
Okay, understood. I followed the Cyclops' instructions until, predictably, I found myself at the campfire where the dodo hippogriff was waiting.
He sent you. Good. You follow orders. You might have a better chance of surviving than the last one.
Wait, what do you mean, the last one?
You think you're the first Ice Witherstorm to spawn here? There have been many, and Ivan has destroyed them all out of his evil jealousy.
But if he's after Ice Witherstorms, why are you and that Cyclops guy so afraid of him and his goons?
Your people have the worst of it, but Ivan is a nightmare for all of us. Anyone who bruises his ego gets destroyed. We want him gone, and with our powers combined, we can make it happen.
What do I need to do?
Go with Cyclops. Train. Get stronger. If he finds you this threatening now, imagine what you can do when you reach full power.
From day 4 to day 5, I carried out the dodo hippogriff's wishes and left with the Cyclops. I knew that if I was going to survive this, I needed to put a roof over both of our heads. Sit tight, Cyclops. I'm gonna make us some tools and get started. I knocked down a tree with my Witherstorm strength and made the pieces into a wooden pickaxe. From there, I mined into the ground and collected some stone. I had to be careful where I mined and built, because some areas were just a thin layer of ice over water. When I had enough stone, I built myself a stone pickaxe and a stone sword. With my spare stone, I started building a basic 2-room base to protect myself and Cyclops from the elements.
This is a good start, Zozo. Solid, but low-key. This won't attract any undue attention.
Thank you, I think. But it may not have been that low-key. All that building had attracted a dangerous dirt scorpion a long way away from home. As it attacked, this time I fought back until the Dirt Scorpion was defeated. This gave me the XP to level up, getting 30 hearts and a new power, Ice Blast. Now I can finally start living up to my Ice Witherstorm name. From day 6 to day 8, I left the Cyclops back at the base while I went out to explore a nearby frosty mountain range called the Alps. Wow, the air is very thin up here. I probably wouldn't make a habit of hanging out up here. But my thoughts were interrupted by an adorable orange and white kitty running up towards me.
Please, stranger, I need some help. There's something terrible happening back there.
Calm down, calm down. What's going on here, kitty?
A dread scuttler. It's horrible, and it was chasing after me. I was so scared.
Don't worry, kitty. You just hang back here, and I'll go take care of it.
Thank you, stranger. Thank you.
Please, call me Zozo. I braced myself and went off in the direction that the kitty came from. It didn't take me long to find the Dread Scuttler, and with the help of my Ice Blast and my stone sword, it didn't take long for me to beat it either. Afterwards, the kitty approached me, happy that I'd taken care of the nasty Dread Scuttler.
Zozo, that was amazing. You're the best.
Please, it was nothing.
Well, if it was so easy, maybe you'll help me take care of a Dreadlich not far from here. He's been causing a lot of trouble.
Sure, I'll always do my best. From day 9 to day 10, I followed Kitty's instructions and went further into the Alps. That's where I found the Dreadlich waiting.
So, you're the one who destroyed my Dread Scuttler. Do you have any idea how hard those are to summon? I'll make you pay for this, you wretched little Ice Witherstorm.
Talk is cheap, Dreadlich. Let's duke it out. But it didn't take me long to regret being so gung-ho. The Dreadlich was way tougher than I thought. He tanked my attacks and returned with some magical attacks of his own. My only option was to run away and survive to fight another day. I met with Kitty again and told her the bad news.
Don't beat yourself up, Zozo. You tried your best, and you did an amazing job getting rid of the Dread Scuttler.
And I'm gonna take care of the Dreadlich too, but I need to get stronger first. Why don't you come and stay at my base in the frozen lakes? It'll probably be safer there.
That's a very generous offer, Zozo, and I think I'll take you up on it.
From day 11 to day 12, I returned to my base with Kitty and quickly set about building a new room in my base for her to stay. I made sure it was the kind of room that'd be really cozy for a cute little kitty. What do you think, Kitty?
I think you did an amazing job, Zozo. So amazing, in fact, that I made a few base upgrades of my own to repay you.
And Kitty certainly had made some awesome upgrades. She created a sheep farm full of, yep, you guessed it, sheep. She'd also created a furnace and a storage room. Are you implying I should go and forge myself some new weapons, Kitty?
Nothing gets past you, Zozo.
I searched until I found a decent cavern for mining, and searched until I found a healthy vein of iron ore. I dug up the ore and took it back to my base with me. There, I used the furnace Kitty built to smelt my ore into iron ingots. And with those and some sticks, I made myself an iron pickaxe and an iron sword. Now I'm stronger than ever before. That's what I'm talking about. From day 13 to day 15, I spoke to the Cyclops again, asking if he had any advice on how to get strong enough to defeat Ivan the Ice Dragon.
Well, what have you fought so far?
I've fought a lot of things.
Fought and beat, I mean.
A Dirt Scorpion and a Dread Scuttler.
You're gonna need to fight stronger things than big bugs if you want to really level up, Zozo. Go back to the Alps and find something worth defeating there. Only true challenge will help you grow your skills.
Great advice, Cyclops. Following his advice, I went back to the Alps. Even making my way up there was exhausting. This was going to be more challenging than I thought.
Hey, if it isn't the big, goofy, apple-eating baby. I knew I'd find you eventually, and now you're doomed.
It was the same Dread Thrall who'd hassled me earlier, but this time I wasn't going to talk to him. I was going to fight him, and I was going to win. With a combination of ice blasts and lethal strikes from my iron sword, the Dread Thrall was vanquished, and I picked up a healing potion he dropped. Once I'd swigged it down, I started to transform. I got bigger, stronger. I had 60 hearts and a new ability, shooting with a Wither Skull. Half ice, half Witherstorm. My power is really coming along. From day 16 to day 19, I went from the mountains of the Alps to the even higher frozen peaks. If getting challenged makes you tougher, I'm gonna be as tough as one of these mountains soon. During my journey, I happened upon a book laying on the ground. Its title read, Dread Thrall's Diary. Well, this seems like essential reading. There was a section that read, Ivan's been such a drag since that Ice Witherstorm turned up. He's so paranoid and stuck in his own head. He started staying in that base in the eroded Badlands. What kind of ice dragon hangs out in the Badlands? It's way too hot there. He's staying in the eroded Badlands? That's really useful information. I looked up and saw another Dread Thrall standing a few feet from me.
Hey, that's my diary, you jerk! Oh!
Before he said another word, I blasted the Dread Thrall with a powerful Wither Skull, and he was no more. From day 20 to day 22, while heading back from the frozen peaks, I wiped out a small but vicious gang of coyotes. It feels good to be so powerful. I think I've earned myself a treat. I returned to my favorite mining cavern and collected a few extra chunks of iron ore. Then, I returned to my base and used the furnace to smelt them into iron ingots. From that, I built myself an iron chestplate and equipped it. You probably can't see it in all my Witherstorm swirls, but it feels good to know it's there. With my new power and new armor, I felt the confidence to go back and settle an old score. I returned to the Alps, where I saw the Dreadlich waiting.
Ready for me to hand you your Ice Witherstorm Heiny, eh, Zozo?
I'd like to see you try, Dreadlich. This time, it was a much more even fight. With my Wither Skulls and Ice Blast, this time I put him down for good. Kitty is gonna be so pleased when I tell her. Suddenly, a chill went down my already chilly Ice Witherstorm spine. I heard the great flapping of wings in the sky above and saw Ivan the Ice Dragon coming towards me.
Oh, there you are, you little plagiarist! You lazy copycat! I'm gonna be the only ice being out here!
As strong as I'd gotten, I still wasn't tough enough to take on Ivan yet. I did the only thing I could and ran. From day 23 to day 26, I made it safely back to my base and rushed to tell Kitty the good news. Hey Kitty, remember that Dreadlich you were having trouble with?
You mean the one you were having trouble with, Zozo?
Well, those troubles are over. I defeated him.
Perfect! Nicely done, Zozo!
I didn't want to rest on my victory for too long. After all, I had only just narrowly escaped from Ivan. I still needed to get much stronger if I was going to take him down for good. I decided to venture back to the mines and have another shot at gathering up some more iron ore. Luckily for me, there was plenty to be found in another vein underground, and I hacked away with my pickaxe. Once I had gathered up enough ore, I smelted it into some shiny new iron ingots. I had plenty to smith myself an iron helmet and sturdy pair of iron boots to match my chest piece. Now, I was fully protected.
Zozo, come have a look!
What's new, Kitty Cat? Whoa! Kitty had been working on an upgrade to my base as a way of saying thank you for helping her out. She'd built a brand new perimeter wall to keep danger at bay. Now I wasn't the only one with added protection. My base and my friends were too. From day 27 to day 31, I headed back to the frozen peaks. Now that a few of the Dread Thralls and that pesky Dreadlich were taken care of, it was a bit safer for me to explore the area. Although, I had my guard up when I spotted a mighty behemoth. But was he a friend or foe?
Relax, little Ice Witherstorm. Take a chill pill.
Sorry, I can't be too careful with Ivan and his Dread Horde around.
Oh, that buzzkill. Yeah, I can imagine he would have given an icicle like you a really icy reception.
Are you gonna keep making jokes like that all day?
Sorry, man. I'm just feeling pretty good since you took out all those Dread Thralls. It's made things around here way cooler. But you know there's still plenty of Ivan's minions around, right?
You're right, and it's not safe for you here, Behemoth. Head back to my base with me.
Sweet! You're a pretty chilled guy, Zozo.
I made my way back to the base with the behemoth. Once we had returned, I was able to grab some wool from the flock of sheep in the pen and use that wool to make some nice decorative banners that really livened the place up. Once the decorating work was done, the Cyclops ran over in a panic.
Zozo, come quickly. I need your help. There is another challenge that might help build your strengths.
Then lead the way. From day 32 to day 35, my Cyclops friend and mentor took me towards the frozen lakes, where we came across a sight that even made my Ice Witherstorm self shiver. A swarm of Ivan the Ice Dragon's Dread Thralls were chasing after Dodo the Hippogriff.
Zozo, help! It's Ivan. He's found me. He's on to us.
I leapt into battle, swinging my iron sword to chop down some of the Dread Thralls. I let off an Ice Blast, then another attack, my Wither Skull Blast. I was desperately trying to clear a path to reach the Dodo Hippogriff, but there were just too many Dread Thralls in the way. No! The Dread Thralls destroyed the Dodo Hippogriff. I slashed my sword at them, taking down each and every one of them, until not a single Thrall was left standing. But I was still too late. From day 36 to day 39, I decided to wander off on my own for a little while. I needed to clear my head and be alone with my thoughts. I hadn't known the dodo hippogriff all that long, but I was still sad I couldn't save him. He'd had a lot of faith in me being able to take on Ivan, so I figured maybe my sadness was a reminder that I couldn't take his wisdom for granted. I had to make sure I lived up to the dodo hippogriff's expectations. On my travels, I encountered a cactoid in the Alps.
Oh, my. Will you please help me? I'm being pursued by a beastly creature.
Sure thing. Just point me at the nasty critter, and it's as good as gone. The cactoid led me to the creature that had been coming after him, a horrible hellhound. I grabbed my sword and readied for a fight. After all, the dodo hippogriff had told me the path to victory was getting stronger, and any battle was a chance to improve. I took down the hellhound with little effort and went back to the cactoid to tell him the good news.
Oh my, thank you, kind, chilly stranger. I've seen Ivan's minions on the move more and more lately. His ego must have been pricked something fierce.
Yeah, that dragon really is vain. He took out one of my friends just to get at me.
Well, he wants to be the only ice creature around. I imagine he feels threatened by you. Take it from a guy covered in spines. Some people only act tough on the outside to protect themselves on the inside.
From day 40 to day 43, I decided it was time to rejoin my friends back at the base. The Cyclops and I had parted briefly after we lost the dodo hippogriff, but I thought about what he'd said before. Only with our powers combined could we take down Ivan.
Hey there, Zozo. Glad to see you're back. Don't worry, I've been keeping an eye out while you were gone.
Thanks, Cyclops. Say, this place looks a little different.
Well, I wasn't gonna just sit around on my hands. Have a look around.
The Cyclops had worked really hard at making the base more homely, just the thing I needed to lift my spirits after losing the dodo hippogriff. He'd built plenty of new bookshelves and even a few comfy couches. You know, Cyclops, it's not like we can sit on more than one of these couches at a time.
About that, Zozo, I was wondering if I could invite some guests. There are more Cyclopses like me who have had it up to their eye with Ivan. Would you mind if they came to stay?
Not at all. The more, the merrier. After the other Cyclopses came in and found their places, the behemoth came over to talk to me.
Say, Zozo, when you've got a moment, I also have a favor to ask you.
From day 44 to day 49, I set off from my base to carry out a quest that my friend the behemoth had given me. He said that there was a silver lobo hiding somewhere in the frozen peaks, and that he had some useful info that would help me taking down Ivan, if I could take him down, that is. But while I was beginning my search, I heard the flap of two icy wings and had to leap out of the way as Ivan arrived, swooping in for an ambush.
There you are. I thought you would have given up after my dread thralls killed your poor friend, the dodo hippogriff. You know, he'd still be alive if you had just turned yourself over and let me destroy you, little Witherstorm.
What's your problem, Ivan? You're really going out of your way to try and stop me from getting stronger. Seems like you might be a little insecure.
You're a pest. Nothing more than a chilly breeze. I'm an ice dragon. I should be the master of the freezing cold. I'll unleash a whole new ice age on this world. An endless deep freeze. But as long as you're around, you're in my way. So let's see if we can't fix that little problem.
Suddenly, a monstrous reaver burst out of nowhere and came charging towards me. Ivan had already flapped away, leaving his minion to take me on. This creature might be my toughest fight yet. From day 50 to day 53, I got to fighting the reaver. This thing was one of the most powerful mobs I'd ever seen. It was all brute strength and rage. I deflected its blows with my iron sword, the occasional hit knocking into my armor and causing me a little damage. I'd need to keep my cool if I was going to defeat this monster. Wait, that's it! I blasted the reaver with my ice blast. While the icy attack didn't freeze it completely, it did slow down the beast's attacks. I could dodge out of the way of its fist a lot easier now and got around behind it to deliver the final strike with my sword. The reaver fell. I had not only survived, but I'd beaten the creature too. But my trusty iron sword was looking a little worse for wear now. Although, much to my surprise, the reaver dropped something that could come in real handy later on. Some mystical diamonds. I'll stash these in my inventory for now, but they could make me a great replacement for my sword. As soon as I touched them, I was granted a magical vision by the mystical diamonds. They showed me a little dragon, just newly hatched. It was Ivan, as a baby. He was scared and all alone, left abandoned on the top of a frozen peak. So that's why he was such a bully. He'd felt so helpless, and now he wanted to be the strongest around to avoid that feeling, even if it meant being mean to others. From day 54 to day 57, I continued my search through the frozen peaks until I finally came upon the creature I'd been searching for, the Silver Lobo. This thing was nasty. I didn't even have a chance to negotiate or come up with a peaceful solution. It just lunged straight for me. Lucky for me, I had already tangled with a Reaver and survived, not to mention all the Dread Thralls I'd taken down. So with a few blasts of Wither Skulls, the battle was over as quick as it began. And then I saw the thing that was so handy that the behemoth had sent me here in the first place. The Silver Lobo dropped a map. It had been tasked with guarding a location that obviously Ivan didn't want me getting to, so I grabbed the map and made the trek back to my base. I needed to speak with the behemoth.
Hey there, Zozo. It sure is cool to see you back in one piece.
Say, behemoth, why send me after this map?
Well, I figured you should go to where it leads and find out for yourself.
Will I find out why Ivan wants to stop me from getting stronger?
Oh, I can tell you that. He doesn't like being the weak one, and you intimidate him. An ice dragon like him can harness the frost and the freeze, but you're cooler than cool. You're ice cold. Ice withers are made of pure frozen magic. He only wants to hold you back because he knows you could outmatch him.
From day 58 to day 62, I decided to do some more work on my base now that I was back for a while. I upgraded our sheep pen, making it more spacious for the flock so they could roam around a bit easier. Then I took a look at the map I had gotten from the Silver Lobo and started to follow it to see what all the fuss was about. It only led to a mine filled with diamonds. No wonder Ivan didn't want me finding out about this place. I got to work mining as many diamonds as I could carry and raced back to my base so I could turn them into useful items. Before long, I had a brand new diamond sword to replace my worn out old iron one, along with a new diamond pickaxe to make mining a breeze. Then, just as I was finished, my Cyclops friend came up to talk to me.
Zozo, I noticed some of my fellow Cyclopses were a little bit chilly, so I made a brand new fireplace with them. Hope that's okay.
Sure, even though the cold never bothered me anyway, I'm glad you guys can keep warm. The Cyclops and his new pals had even built a whole new comfy living area for everyone to show their appreciation for being allowed to stay in the base. I had to admit, I was pretty impressed with what they'd done with the place. From day 63 to day 66, I decided to ask around my base for some advice. I knew I still wasn't tough enough to go head-to-head with Ivan yet, but I had to do something to get back at him. And besides, the Dodo Hippogriff had made me realize that teamwork was the best way to putting a stop to Ivan's plans. Eventually, the best advice came from Kitty.
You know from that Dread Thrall's diary that Ivan has a base in the eroded Badlands, right? Well, why not go and scout the place out? You don't have to go in or try and face him. Just take a look from the outside to see what it looks like and how to get there.
Good idea! A recon mission! Thanks, Kitty!
No problem, Zozo.
I made my way to the eroded Badlands, making sure I kept to the shade as often as I could, since the Badlands were so much hotter than the frozen lakes. Even though Ice Witherstorms like me were pure enchanted ice, I didn't want to run the risk of melting. I was able to get a good look at Ivan's base. It was well guarded by plenty of his minions. The place was crawling with Dread Thralls. Getting inside was going to be tricky, unless I got a lot stronger. Suddenly, I caught the sound of someone sneaking up on me. It was a siren. Oh no, I thought. One of Ivan's perimeter guards had found me. But to my surprise, she wasn't with Ivan at all.
You're an Ice Witherstorm. Then the rumors were true. Come with me. There is something I need your assistance with.
From day 67 to day 70, I followed the siren as she explained what the problem was.
One of Ivan's dread beasts drove me out of my home not far from here. It's an incredibly territorial creature, and I can't convince it to leave. I need someone to, well, not to be indelicate, but someone that can remove it.
No problem, Miss Siren. I'll handle it. Sure enough, there in a clearing sat the vicious Dread Beast. It immediately sensed the presence of an Ice Witherstorm in its territory, and I got ready for a fight. After all, I'd been looking for a chance to test out my new diamond sword. The snarling Dread Beast was quick, but only a little bit harder to defeat than one of the Dread Thralls. I swung my sword at the monster, and it fell, bested in combat, and now the Siren's home was free from the nasty intruder.
Oh, thank you, Zozo. I wish I could offer you more than just my gratitude, but know that should you ever need a helping hand, I will come to your aid.
Wow, thanks, Miss Siren. From day 71 to day 74, I ventured out across the eroded Badlands, trying to get a better feel for the area and see if I could come across any hidden passageways or other areas that could offer me some secret way into Ivan's lair. I just needed to find something to give myself an advantage, and if I could get a drop on that egotistical ice dragon, maybe that would help me defeat him. I didn't find much in the way of secret tunnels, although I did pass a strange rock formation. When I looked at it from a certain angle, it almost seemed to spell out a word. If you're enjoying this video and want to see more, then find our other ones by searching Zozo or clicking the channel icon below. Suddenly, I heard a familiar flapping of some fearsome wings. Ivan! I must have wandered close enough to his base for one of his dread thralls to spot me.
You never should have come here, Zozo. I'll teach you to trespass.
Ivan fired his icy attacks at me. Under the sun of the Badlands, he was weakened. Either that, or because I was stronger now, I could take more of what he could dish out. Feeling confident, I swiped my diamond sword at him as he swooped down low, but it wasn't enough to cause any lasting damage. I still wasn't strong enough, so I dodged out of the path of Ivan's next ice blast and took cover until he flew off, frustrated he couldn't find me. He wasn't the only one feeling frustrated though. From day 75 to day 78, I headed back to base and went to sit quietly in my room. I was annoyed that I still couldn't beat Ivan in a fight. I knew all about him now, how he had become the meanest, toughest around, so nobody else could harm him, but he still needed taking down. And if I couldn't even manage to do that, then no one else had any hope of stopping him. I wasn't strong enough, and that made me feel like I'd let down the poor dodo hippogriff.
Hey, Zozo, don't feel so disheartened. Come and check out the base. We've made some improvements that are pretty... they're good.
It's okay, Behemoth. You can make a nice joke.
They're pretty cool. That's what they are. Here, I'll show you.
The Behemoth showed me around the base, eager for me to see the new battlements he and the others had been working hard to install. There was now a brand new watchtower, offering a great vantage point to spot Ivan or any of his minions coming if they ever tried to attack our base. I had to admit, even in my low mood, it helped to lift my spirits a little, but not as much as what came next.
Zozo, my Cyclops brethren and I have been talking, and I've been thinking about what the Dodo Hippogriff said to you about combining our powers. This battle axe is a sacred item to us, and, well, we think you should have it.
I was honored. I took hold of the Cyclops battle axe and hoisted it high. I could feel its magic coursing through me as I suddenly grew larger. It granted me 100 hearts and even passed on some ancient wisdom to me, how to perform a special attack called a whirlwind attack. From day 79 to day 84, I was feeling pumped for a rematch with Ivan the Ice Dragon, so I made my way back toward the Badlands to take him on with my increased strength and the Cyclops power at my side. Much to my disappointment, Ivan was nowhere to be seen, probably hiding back in the safety of his base. I did come across a fire ogre though. This was one mob I really didn't want to let get the better of me. His burning blasts of flame could have melted me. But luckily, a huge gust of wind from my whirlwind attack and some ice blasts for good measure quickly snuffed out the fire ogre for good. But before I could celebrate, I got quite the fright when a ghost appeared behind me. Hey, don't sneak up on me like that.
My apologies. I've been wandering these Badlands for longer than I could remember, just looking for where I fell in my last life.
Well, I'm sure I could help you look. The ghost and I searched around for a while, and he seemed to be pretty grateful just to have someone to talk to after being on his own for so long. After a little digging, we came across a shiny diamond helmet.
You found my helmet. This must have been where my body was. Thank you, Zozo. Now I can rest. Here, take my helmet. I'd rather it went to someone worthy like you.
This was perfect. Some added protection from attacks would give me an edge against Ivan. From day 85 to day 89, I headed back to my base, only to find a terrifying sight waiting for me, dread thralls! They were attacking my base. I jumped into action and drew my sword. I let out a blast of my whirlwind attack, sending dread thralls toppling over and flinging them into the air. I cut down 2 with my diamond sword, then froze another with an ice blast. A heavy strike with my sword, and he was gone.
Ah, jeez. They promised that Ice Witherstorm was just a big, goofy, apple-eating baby. That's no baby. Let's get the heck out of here.
With that, the remaining dread thralls ran off, and I rushed after them. I had to make sure they didn't make it back to Ivan. If they led him to where my base was located, he could destroy all of my friends. I wasn't about to let that happen. I chased the dread thralls across the frozen lakes until they were pretty far from my base. I almost lost track of them, but thankfully, I passed a pink pixie who pointed me in their direction.
Hurry, Zozo! Those horrid brutes are tearing through the lakes, causing chaos! Please, give them what for!
From day 90 to day 94, I caught up with the dread thralls. They'd ran all the way back to the eroded Badlands. If I didn't act quickly, they'd reveal the location of my friends to Ivan, then he'd attack. They were approaching Ivan's base when suddenly the thralls stopped. A hideous creature came out to meet them. It was a Gorgon.
What news for Master Ivan?
We found where the big goofy apple-eating baby was hiding, but he wasn't no goofy apple-eating baby. He's a powerful Ice Witherstorm.
Silence! Lower your voice. Don't let our master hear. I will break the news to him. First, tell me where I can find this troublesome Ice Witherstorm.
After the dread thralls left, I ran in to take on the Gorgon alone. I'm right here. The Gorgon gave an angry hiss as I jumped out from my hiding spot and cut down one of the thralls. I took them out much easier than when I'd first started out, but getting rid of them was only the beginning. The Gorgon attacked. I had to use all the attacks I had learned to fend him off. This was by far my toughest fight yet. From day 95 to day 97, I continued trading blows with the Gorgon. I thought of the Dodo Hippogriff and his wise guidance, and of the Behemoth, Kitty, and the Cyclopses, and all they had done for me. I couldn't let them down.
An icicle like you can't best me. Out here in the Badlands is where a serpent like me can thrive.
Yeah? Well, if you're anything like your boss, then you're just talking a big game to hide how uncertain you are. And I never met a snake I could trust. A snake, that was it! A cold-blooded reptile. That's why the Gorgon lived out here where it was warm. If I used my frosty powers, I could make him drowsy, slow him down. So that's what I did, firing off as many ice blasts as I could, despite the scorching sunlight. It was working. The Gorgon's attacks got slower, easier to dodge, and I could slash the frozen parts of his body to chip away at his health. Soon, he had been defeated. I'd done it. I'd taken down Ivan's top henchman. The Gorgon even dropped a key that would get me into Ivan's base.
Wait, don't you want to know what happened to the others?
Others? The other Ice Witherstorms?
Yes, how my master destroyed them all.
With his dying breath, the Gorgon told me that Ivan, after being abandoned on a frosty peak, devoted himself to being the coldest creature around. He had hunted down other ice withers to absorb their freezing powers and make himself stronger. That was why he had been trying to get to me this whole time. I had to stop him, but I'd need to gear up before the final fight. On day 98, I made my way back to my base, hoping to prepare myself for my final showdown against Ivan. It had all been building to this, and I hoped I was ready. First, I spoke to Behemoth.
Don't worry, Zozo. I'm sure you've got what it takes to take down Ivan. You're the coolest customer I know.
Thanks for that, Behemoth. Then, Kitty.
Zozo, take care! Remember to lick your wounds, and don't fight if you've got a hairball. Trust me on that one.
I'll take your word for it, Kitty. And finally, the Cyclops.
Listen, Zozo, I can't thank you enough for giving me and my Cyclops friends a home. I think the Dodo Hippogriff would be proud of how far you've come. We combined our powers, and it made you the powerful Ice Witherstorm you are.
I just hope that I'm ready to take on Ivan.
None of us are ever ready for challenges, Zozo. We just have to tell ourselves we are, and remember what challenges are for.
There to make us stronger. On day 99, I made my way back toward the lair of Ivan the Ice Dragon, passing the Alps on my journey towards the eroded Badlands. When I finally reached my destination, it seemed Ivan hadn't taken the fall of his Gorgon too well. The place was crawling with dread thralls. I knew I could handle a group of them, but this was way more than I had ever seen. What I could really do with is getting help getting past these dread thralls.
But of course, you only had to ask Zozo.
Miss Siren!
My siren song can distract these thralls for a time. That should help you deal with them. You go in there and take on Ivan once and for all.
On day 100, I made my way into the heart of Ivan's lair and came face to face with the frozen dragon himself.
So, you've come to get melted, like all the other Ice Witherstorms.
No way, Ivan. I'm here to stop you. I understand why you feel the need to be so tough, but it doesn't excuse hurting people.
I am tough. Why do you think that me, an ice dragon, would make my home here in the eroded Badlands? Because I'm strong enough, cold enough to withstand the heat.
Let's see about that. We clashed. The fight was on. Ivan was much bigger than me and could fly, so he already had a few advantages I didn't. But I had plenty of my own. I was smaller, faster, and far stronger than when we had last fought. Like before, I kept trying to take some swings of my diamond sword whenever Ivan swooped down low and came in for an attack. This was working for a bit, but Ivan quickly realized what I was doing and began to stay, hovering in the air to evade my sword strikes. Flapping his wings to stay above me, he launched icy blasts my way, and I had to dodge as quick as I could. But that gave me an idea. Two can play that game, Ivan. I've got the power of ice, and the Cyclops is on my side. Moving quickly, I used my ice blasts. Then I stayed out of reach and fired some wither skulls his way. It worked. One more swipe of my diamond sword would finish it. Hey, Ivan, you really need to chill out. Boom! Ivan the Ice Dragon was defeated. On day 1, I spawned in as a Fire Witherstorm, a force of pure fiery destruction. Why am I so puny? I only had 6 hearts to begin with, but I knew Witherstorms grew stronger by absorbing blocks and mobs. I tried to absorb some of the nearby blocks and grow bigger, but it didn't work. Maybe I needed to unlock that ability first. It also looked like I couldn't really fly yet. At least I'm immune to fire. The area I spawned into was a molten lava field that would be really dangerous for regular mobs. It was like home sweet home, but there was nothing to destroy. I didn't see any other Witherstorms either, so I figured I had been left behind by the others while they went off to grow bigger. Wait for me, guys! I ran around looking for my friends until I saw something really strange. There was a snowy biome right next to this fire one. What's the deal? Everyone knows that fire and ice don't mix. I heard a growl behind me and saw a fire Cerberus looking really hungrily at me. Hey, Witherstorms aren't nutritious! I hit the Cerberus, but because I was so small, the damage was nothing. I was losing hearts fast to its bite, so I decided to run away. I ended up running straight into a Vex that wanted a piece of me too. All of a sudden, Fireland doesn't feel that much like home. I jumped down into a lava pit and hid myself away. I knew they couldn't follow me because of my fire immunity, so I stayed there safely until the next day. On day 2, I hopped out of the lava pit and found some burnt out trees. It wasn't what I was expecting, but at least I could gather some wood to make my first tools. I've never seen a wither make anything before, but it's nice to be the first at something. These tools would probably burn up if I used them here, so I made my way towards that snowy biome that I saw the other day. On the border between the fire and ice biomes, there was a wide river with a strong current. If I try to cross that, I'll be put out like a campfire. I didn't have enough wood to build a bridge, so I followed the banks of the river to see if there was a place where it was safe to cross. That's when I noticed something small flying towards me from across the river. It was an imp with icy wings.
Do not cross this river. I'm warning you, Fireface.
That's rude. First of all, my name is Zozo. Second, why do you care if I cross it?
It's not me who cares. The Ice Meister is the one who doesn't want anyone from the Firelands coming over here.
I'm a Witherstorm first, and a fire creature second. I'll go where I want.
My warning still stands. There's a war going on, and Ice Meister plans on winning it.
A war between the creatures of ice and fire? That sounds heated and chilling.
Steer clear of it, Fireface. I mean, Zozo.
Thanks. I finished the day by mining some stone blocks from the side of the river with my new set of tools. On day 3, I started building a base on my side of the river with some stone blocks as the foundation. Whoever this Ice Meister guy is, he can't be mad at me if I don't leave the Firelands. I was still really weak for a Fire Witherstorm and needed something to protect me from all the wandering mobs until I could unleash my full potential. I was betting that the mobs could sense my true potential, and that's why they were attacking me. Almost done putting up the walls, I'll be safe now. It turned out I spoke too soon, because a dread beast ran inside the base and started trying to infect me with its plagues. I pulled out my wooden sword and swung away at the mob. The wooden sword caught on fire as soon as I started using it. It felt good to be the one attacking for a change, probably because I hadn't gotten to do any actual destroying yet. With the final blow, the wooden sword got destroyed, but I downed the beast. Bye-bye, beastie. Hey, I wonder if I can use my absorb ability on it now. Come on, let's go! Absorb! The ability actually worked this time. The dread beast and a bunch of the surrounding blocks got added into my body. I had gotten way bigger, and my total number of hearts was 14 now. I had 3 tentacles now instead of none. I could make 3 times as many melee attacks now. The only downside was that absorbing more material into myself made part of my base disappear. I'd better be careful what I absorb in the future. I replaced the blocks that got absorbed and made sure to finish the foundation and replaced my broken wooden sword with a new stone one. This one should last longer now. I plan to go and gather more stone tomorrow. On days 4 to 5, I went looking for more stone by the riverside. This time, I noticed that part of the river was frozen solid, like somebody had built a bridge of ice blocks over the running water. If I tried to walk on it, the ice would melt. But something told me the ice and snow mobs wouldn't have the same problem. I was right. There was already a taiga zombie on the fire side of the river.
How many times does the Ice Meister need to teach a lesson?
Hey, I've stayed on my side. Why can't Ice Master stay on his?
It seems you don't remember what you used to be.
What did I used to be?
You were the Ice Meister's greatest rival, the leader of all the fire mobs in this world. You almost melted all of the snow zone before he defeated you.
Whoa, I used to be the ruler of the fire side of the river? That's really cool. What happened that made me so small and weak?
That's not your business anymore. I'll destroy you before you become that powerful ever again.
The taiga zombie clearly wanted a fight, so I made sure to give it one. The zombie had only one weapon, and I had 3 tentacles and a stone sword, so he was quickly outmatched. I won! Now I'll absorb you too. The absorption didn't work this time, which probably meant that the ice mobs were totally immune. That was disappointing, but important to know. I finished off the zombie and gathered as much of the stone as I could before my wooden pickaxe broke. I went back to my base with the stone I gathered. If there really is a war, I need to get fortified. On days 6 to 8, I found some lost tentacles lying around in the Firelands. I wonder if these used to be mine when I was big and strong. The mysteries grow deeper. I couldn't attach them back onto myself, but I did know of another way to put them to good use. First, I had to gather sticks from around the burnt trees. Next, I upgraded my wooden tools to stone. This let me mine for a couple ingots of iron and gold beneath the Firelands. With access to both sticks, gold, and iron, I was able to craft a hook. Then, I combined the lost tentacles with my hook in order to make a tentacle grab. This special item would let me grapple enemies and keep them from getting away. It would be perfect for keeping mobs within melee range. Not long after I crafted the tentacle grab, I noticed a few ice mobs on this side of the river. They were ice piglins, and they were not happy to see me. Get out of here! Go tell Ice Meister that I survived, and I'm going to become big and strong again. They started moving towards me. Time to test out my new weapon. I quickly struck down the first mob, and then the second. I then snared the ice piglin with a tentacle grab and pulled him in for a tentacle beatdown. Bet you weren't expecting that. Those old lost tentacles were good for something after all. The piglin was defeated. Ice Meister would have to do better than that if he wanted to eliminate me for good. And next, I was going to strike back. It was time to see what this snowy biome was all about. On days 9 to 10, I gathered as much stone as I could find and built a sturdy bridge over the river. Now I can cross over to Ice Master's side of the river and see what I'm up against. The snowy biome had tons of materials that I had never seen on the fiery side of the river. There were blocks of lapis, and the polar bears dropped some pelts, which I used for decoration on my base. I continued through the tundra, seeing all sorts of wonderful things along the way. This was a nice area. It would be a shame if I had to burn it all down. That's when I saw him, Ice Meister. Memories of the last time we fought came flooding back to me. I was a lot bigger than I am right now when I lost to him, but it seemed like he used some kind of enchantment on me. I had to find out more. I approached Ice Meister confidently. Remember me?
It can't be. You're the Fire Witherstorm from across the river.
That's right, and you're going to stop sending ice mobs into the Firelands, or we're gonna have a problem.
Pathetic little puff of smoke. I'll let you live just this once, but only because I've already sealed your power away.
I didn't know what he meant, but I had the feeling he wouldn't be so understanding if I stuck around. I turned back towards the river so that I could make my way home. When I got to the stone bridge, I noticed a brown bear halfway over the bridge.
Oh, hey, don't mind me.
Please, don't tell me you're another ice mob invading my territory.
Me? Not at all. I'm trying to get somewhere warmer. Are you from the Firelands?
Actually, I used to be top dog over there. I'm Zozo the Fire Witherstorm.
I'm Reginald. All the other bears like the cold, but I'd rather be in a nicer climate. Everywhere Ice Meister goes, he freezes the terrain and starts building cities made out of ice.
Well, then you'll be right at home in the Firelands. It'll always be warm there. On days 11 to 12, Reginald and I returned to my base on the fire side of the river. I soon made an extra room for him with a sunroof so he could get the most out of the pleasant weather. After that, I went to mine for more iron with my stone pickaxe. Because of all the lava, the Firelands were rich in obsidian, which I could gather later. It's a sturdy material that would make my base stronger. But before I could get enough ingots, I was ambushed by a wildkin. It did a ton of damage with a single attack. Ow, my heart! I couldn't get any further into the iron mine with that mob down there, so I ran back above ground. I have to unlock more of my former abilities. What else do Witherstorms do? I concentrated as hard as I could on one of the nearby magma cubes. With some effort, I was able to fire a Wither Skull projectile. The mob was destroyed in one hit. Wither Skulls, that's it! The Wildkin would take more than a few Wither Skull attacks to be defeated, but I could at least weaken it before it got close. I went back down into the iron mine and put my plan into action. The Wildkin was waiting for me, so I wasted no time blasting him with 3 Wither Skulls. Now I could fight at close range without worrying about getting worn out. The Wildkin's claws were still doing damage to me, but I had 3 tentacles, so my attacks were much faster. Once I beat him, I crafted an iron pickaxe and mined the obsidian from the surface of the Firelands. This obsidian will look great on my base. I was right. The obsidian made a perfect addition to the outer walls. My base was becoming a real fortress. On days 13 to 15, I started to remember more of what happened back when I was a fully grown Fire Witherstorm. I was huge and absorbing everything in sight. I remember the terrain being covered in ice, but unlike the snowy biome next door, it was the middle of the ocean. I must have been able to fly here from the Firelands. Down below, I saw Ice Meister. He was slightly smaller than the present day, so this must have been his younger self. Hahaha, you're not so tough. Move aside, Pipsqueak.
I won't let you destroy my home.
He sounded really upset, and from the look of things, it seemed like I was the one who had attacked first. I saw Ice Meister hold a black block, and it began absorbing me. No, impossible! My destructive power!
Your true form is sealed now. It will never escape this enchanted block.
I fell down to the ground, a tiny and weak version of what I used to be. I'll be back one day. Ice Meister called some other snowmen to put me on a block of ice, which floated away from this land and down the river to the Firelands. Back then, the Firelands were on both sides of the river. The dream ended there. It seemed like Ice Meister just wanted revenge because of what I did, but he showed mercy to me the last time I was there in spite of that. I can't believe I used to be the bad guy. I should just leave the ice mobs alone from now on. That might be the only way to make up for all the destruction I caused when I was big. On days 16 to 19, I decided to tell Reginald about the memories I was having. I felt really bad about what I did, so I needed to talk to a friend. I thought Ice Meister was the bad guy, but it turns out I made him that way because I bullied him and melted his home.
That is a lot. Have you thought of saying sorry and trying to do something nice for him?
I might have messed up too badly for that. There's no way to undestroy something.
Being sad about it won't fix the problem, neither.
Ah, you wouldn't get it. I ran away from the base, leaving Reginald behind. He was better off without me anyway. I was a destructive bad guy, and he was just a regular bear. How could he understand what I was feeling right now? While I was out wandering the Firelands, I saw a village under attack by taiga zombies. Oh no, I have to help! Without even thinking, I raced to the aid of the villagers. The zombies were easier to defeat this time, now that I was bigger and I could clear out several at once. The villagers cheered as I drove the last of the ice mobs off. Their home was saved, and I actually felt good. The Firelands were attacked because of me, but I'm going to save them anyway. I can't change the past, but I will stop this war and save my home.
Thank you, Zozo. We were hoping someone would protect our village from the ice mobs, but we never expected you would return to save us.
I'm back, and better than ever. The villagers brought a large stack of blocks out of their houses and set them down in front of me.
We were storing these blocks for you to absorb, so you could become strong again.
You're not afraid of my true form?
No way! You were always nice to us fire mobs, and with you around, nobody messed with us. Go on, absorb those blocks.
I did what the villager said and became an even larger Fire Witherstorm. My total number of tentacles was 5, and I had 3 heads now. Hi, hello. My armor and hearts were both increased too, with iron level durability and 25 hearts. I was really starting to resemble my old self. In a good way, I hoped. Do you villagers know anything more about how I used to be?
We do know one thing. The legendary block that contains your true form was hidden away by Ice Master after he defeated you the first time. If you can find that, you'll be back to full power in no time.
Full power? I like the sound of that. Even though taking my old form could make me a bad guy again, I decided to find the sealed block anyway. If I'm going to end this war, I may as well be prepared to do whatever it takes. On days 20 to 22, I went back to the base so I could apologize to Reginald for running away. I found him outside the base, fending off some polar bears.
It's over, Reginald. You're coming home with us. No, this is my friend's base, and I'm protecting it until he comes back. You're a fool. We were right to kick you out of the Polar Bear Club.
I ran over to help. Reginald, I'm back. I'm so sorry I yelled at you.
Oh, it's the firestorm. Retreat.
The polar bears ran away in fear in the sight of me.
Thank you, Zozo. I'm glad you came back.
What are friends for? Now that the base was safe from the ice mobs, I started laying the foundation for a statue. I would need a lot of obsidian, so I got to mining as much as I could. With my pickaxe, I diverted part of the river into the Firelands to create even more obsidian where the lava was flowing freely. This also let me improve the base with a moat that even the ice mobs would have trouble crossing. I made sure to give it a drawbridge, and I filled it with lava. That should be enough obsidian to get started. What do you think I'm building? Also, subscribe to Zozo if you want to see more of my adventures. On days 23 to 26, the base was attacked by more ice mobs. Those polar bears who bullied Reginald must have told Ice Master where I was. There was a whole pack of frost stalkers trying to get in. They were some strong mammoths, but fortunately, they weren't the kind that were clever enough to open doors. Thanks to the blocks I absorbed in the village, I was big and strong enough to give them a real thrashing. The last one to be defeated dropped their pelt, which I used to craft a frost stalker cloak. With this, I could disguise myself as a frost stalker and infiltrate the snowy biomes. I traveled over the stone bridge and into the cold forest where the frost stalkers lived. The cloak's disguise worked like a charm. I could tame the frost stalkers and have them keep other mobs out of the forest. The trees here were made of spruce wood, which couldn't be found in the Firelands. I should take some home with me since I'm here. I would have stayed longer, but I was worried about being discovered by the Ice Meister. I went back to the base and built myself a fireplace that would put the spruce wood to good use. When I went back outside, I saw a fire elemental hanging outside the walls of the base.
Excuse me, is this where the resistance is?
Resistance?
You know, the resistance against Ice Meister and his army of ruthless conquerors. Some villagers told me that the Ice Witherstorm was coming back. Is that you?
Yep, that's me.
Oh wow, I'm your biggest fan. I wanted to join up with you and help save our home.
You're a fan of me? Wow, I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I'll let you in. It's safer inside of the base.
Sweet.
I added a room made completely out of obsidian to the base for the fire elemental to live inside. On days 27 to 31, I had another vision, but this time it wasn't from the past, but from the present. I could feel my sealed destructive power calling out for me from inside the enchanted block. It seemed like it had been locked away inside of some kind of underground vault. I didn't get to see the outside of the chamber, but my best guess was that the entrance was somewhere in the snowy biome. I went to the stone bridge in order to cross, but saw that it had been destroyed while I was away. That must have been the Ice Meister's doing. It looked like the mob who did it was still there. A ferocious yeti that was bigger and badder than any ice creature I had faced yet. It snarled and charged at me. You may have wrecked my bridge, but I'm a lot tougher. I launched a wither skull at him before hitting him with the tentacle grab. The yeti attacks were strong, but so were mine. After fighting the big lug for a bit, I let go of the grapple and pushed him into the river. The fast-moving current washed him far away. I jumped over the gaps of the bridge and made it to the other side. On days 32 to 35, I came across a village of icemen. They'll probably attack me if they find out who I really am. I'd better blend in. I used the Frostwalker cloak in hopes that they'd think I was just a mammoth passing through. It didn't really work.
It's the leader of the fire mobs!
Darn it, there goes that plan.
What do you want with us?
Don't be afraid, I'm not a bad guy anymore. I just want my powers to be unsealed. Do you know where the Ice Meister is keeping the block?
I can tell you that it's not anywhere in the Snowlands. Ice Meister didn't want you to invade us looking for it.
I'm not invading, I swear.
Like we'd believe you.
It wasn't on this side of the river. That was bad news on its own. It was even worse because the villagers were really scared of me. I figured I might as well leave, and then Ice Meister showed up.
What's this, Iceman? Are you seriously being friends with a fire mob? That's not cool.
No, Ice Meister. It's the leader, the Fire Witherstorm you sealed away.
That's even worse. I should have you all frozen for this betrayal.
Hey, don't blame them. I'm the one you want.
And you, I told you I'd only spare you once.
Then come and get me. Ice Meister started chasing me, so I ran away from the Iceman village back to the river. Thinking quickly, I took a risk and jumped in. The water would deal damage to me, but I had enough hearts to withstand it now. I had gotten away from the Ice Meister, but the current took me for a ride. That was until I hit an ice bridge further down the river and was able to swim back to shore. It was the Icemen. They had come to save me.
Thank you for distracting Ice Meister. He's gotten really angry lately, and he's obsessed with war. You protected us, so I guess we misjudged fire mobs.
No sweat. Come on, follow me back to the base. On days 36 to 39, I made some big changes to the base so the Icemen who were staying here wouldn't be too uncomfortable with the heat. I carefully made a big pool filled with water for them to cool off. You can never have enough water fun. Well, I can, but you guys have a good time.
You got that right.
Now that you're all here, why don't you tell me more about that block that contains my true form?
Icemeister said he hid it in a place that is neither fiery or icy. A pasture with a balanced climate and huge fields of crops.
It sounds like there wouldn't be any war happening there.
Yeah, wherever it is.
After talking to the Iceman, I did some more work on my statue. I've moved past the foundation, and it's starting to take shape. Do you know what it could be? On days 40 to 43, the base was visited by a friendly dragonfly.
Salutations! I've heard that you're trying to take the fight to the Icemeister.
You heard correctly.
All right, it just so happens that I know about a way to upgrade your Wither Skulls.
Oh, tell me!
There's an ice mob outpost upriver from here where they're keeping the power-up, which will turn your Wither Skulls to blue Wither Skulls. It's guarded by a goat centaur archer, so be careful.
I followed the dragonfly's advice and went to the outpost. As soon as I got there, the archer started opening fire. I avoided the arrows and struck back with my Wither Skulls. Kablam! I'm a pretty good shot. Inside the outpost was the blue Wither Skull power-up. I absorbed it, and my projectile attacks became twice as strong. These blue ones do serious damage. I felt the call of my sealed self further upriver, so I decided to trust that feeling and keep going. On days 44 to 49, I was astounded by how beautiful the biome around me was. There were crops growing everywhere, and the grass was lush and green. So this is what the world would look like if fire and ice weren't fighting? There were still dangers out here. A whole pack of coyotes tried to eat me, but I was too spicy. That's a fire joke. The coyotes turned away from me and ran back into the field of crops. I saw them a couple seconds later chasing a poor scarecrow.
Help! Help! If only I had a way out of this mess!
Hang on, I'm coming! I ran in and smacked the coyotes with my sword, scaring them off. Why were they chasing you? I thought coyotes ate meat.
They're vegetarian coyotes, and most of my body is made out of vegetables.
Oh, glad I could help.
I'm Straw Bastion. Feel free to make yourself at home. There are plenty of crops here, all nourished by the magical power source we keep underground.
This magical power source wouldn't happen to look like a black block, would it?
Oh, I've never seen it personally. All I know is that it has a great fiery power which can keep the ground nice for cultivating crops.
That has to be my sealed form. On days 50 to 53, I followed Straw Bastion as he showed me around his peaceful land. I was keen to get my hands on my true form, but I didn't want to scare him since he seemed like a nice guy. Has this place always been so peaceful?
There isn't any great war, if that's what you're asking. But we do have our own problems.
Like what?
Look around. All this delicious food and nobody to eat it. Every season, so much of it goes bad because the people in the surrounding lands don't come to visit.
Well, I'll make sure that changes.
That reminds me, there's another traveler here.
Oh, how nice. Do I know them? Turns out I did. The Yeti who broke my bridge jumped out and attacked me. He must have swam all the way back up. Let's finish what we started. I grappled him and we began to fight. Straw Bastion got scared, so he ran away. I wanted to go check on him, but I had to teach this Yeti a lesson first. Don't break people's stuff! I hit him with my Wither Skull and the Yeti was no more. After the fight, I looked around for Straw Bastion but couldn't find him. I guess I'll come back later. I was walking home when I ran into another vegetable person. This one had a tomato for a head. Wait, are tomatoes fruits or vegetables?
What's it to ya?
Sorry, I'm just looking for the legendary enchanted block. How do you get to it?
You gotta dig for it, but you'll need better tools than that. There's a garden shed nearby with a strong shovel you can use.
I took the Tomato Man's advice and found a diamond shovel inside of a nearby abandoned shed. The shed was too small for me, so I used my tentacle to pull the shovel towards me without damaging the shack. On days 54 to 57, I told everyone at the base about the peaceful fields upstream. All the fire and ice villagers were excited about all the food there and wanted to visit. To make the journey easier, I made rowboats out of the spruce wood. While I was working, Reginald came outside to join me. He said he wanted to ask me something. What is it, buddy?
I wanted to mention something about this place with all the vegetables.
Doesn't it sound amazing?
It does, for everybody else. But bears don't eat greens. We prefer fish, and lots of it.
Oh, I get what you're saying. You want me to rustle up a source of fish so that you can have your favorite food too.
Yeah, as long as it's not too much to ask.
You've got nothing to worry about, my friend. I decided to go fishing, but not with nets or fishing poles. I dug a gigantic hole in the ground. It was big enough to be a pond. Just add water. Reginald would have all the fish he needed right here at the base.
Thank you so much. Here's a weapon I think you could use. Like you, it's a destroyer.
Reginald handed me a powerful breaking weapon. My excavations would be a lot easier with that bad boy in my arms. On days 58 to 62, the statue was really starting to come together. You could almost guess what it was going to be. A new wave of ice mobs suddenly broke through the base's defenses. There were ice piglins, frost stalkers, and even new enemies I hadn't seen before. Who let them in?
Zozo, help!
I saw Reginald being attacked by those polar bears again. Thinking quickly, I put on my Froststalker helmet and sent some of the Froststalkers to deal with them. Reginald and I ran away to another part of the base together. When we were there, we saw that the fire villagers and icemen were fighting. Hey, break it up! What's going on here?
I knew we couldn't trust the people of the Snowlands.
You're the ones who couldn't accept us.
Enough! I shouted loudly and got everyone's attention. I probably scared them, but at least they stopped fighting. Stay here and don't hurt each other. I'll go deal with the enemies outside. Reginald, you're in charge.
Yes, sir.
I left Reginald and the villagers in the safe place behind my house and fought back the ice mobs single-handedly. There was one friend I hadn't seen in there, and I was becoming worried. Come on, Fire Elemental, where are you? I discovered him at the drawbridge, surrounded by ice mobs. They had already depleted most of his health by the time I got there. I wanted to do something, but it was too late.
Sorry, Zozo. I thought we could win, so I called for a battle.
It's okay, I'm here now. We'll win.
Oh, good. You can do it, Zozo.
With that, the fire elemental faded away. He had been so brave, and unlike me, he wasn't coming back from this. This was Ice Meister's fault, and he was going to pay. On days 63 to 66, I went to the Snowlands and tried to convince the local creatures to stop the war. This battle is between Ice Meister and myself. None of you need to get involved. If you don't want to fight me, there is a place at the top of the river with plenty of food and no war. If you stay here, Ice Meister will force you to invade the Firelands. A few of them seemed to listen and started heading upstream, but one ran out of the crowd of snow creatures and attacked me.
For Ice Meister, I will defeat you. You cannot be allowed to reclaim your true form.
He was strong, so I had to fight back. At least I wasn't picking on the weaker ones. Stop it! More fighting is not the solution.
It's too late. You already melted our home once, and most of the world too. How do you think the Firelands ended up burned and destroyed?
I did that?
Yes, you are the Fire Witherstorm. You are the true evil in this world.
Please, I'm going to be nicer. You don't have to do this. He wouldn't listen. I had no other choice. I defeated him with a blue Witherskull attack. The other ice creatures ran away. I'm sorry. On days 67 to 70, I caught up with some of the other ice mobs that had gone to the crop field. At least they are safe. I saw some ruins in the distance and went to check them out. With the destroyer, I started to dig into the earth until I came upon a vault made of bedrock. Even the destroyer couldn't get through this, probably because of enchantments. I dug around more and found an entrance, but it was guarded. Somehow, this guardian seemed familiar.
I was wondering when you'd show up.
Who are you? And why do I feel like I know you? That's when I received another memory of the past. I saw myself as a fire witherstorm raging across the land. I saw everything on both sides of the river get turned to ash and lava. By my side the whole time was my loyal pack of Cerberus mobs and their leader, Tartarus. The same Tartarus that was standing in front of me, guarding the entrance to the vault. Tartarus?
You remember now?
I don't understand. Why are you guarding the vault, buddy? My true form is inside of there, and I need it to defeat Ice Meister.
The only thing you need is to return home and give up on this quest for the legendary block.
I can't do that. People have gotten hurt because of this war.
People have gotten hurt because of you too. I'm here to stop you from becoming your worst self again.
Even if that means Ice Meister becomes my worst self instead?
Yes, even if that happens.
Then I'm sorry for what I have to do. As Tartarus and I began to fight, all of his special attacks started to come back to me. I avoided his breath weapon and his breaking claw strikes. I pelted him with wither skulls until we clashed head to head. You were really strong, old friend. Sorry again. I drew the destroyer and swung it at him, but he dodged and ran away. Rather than chase after him, I checked the vault for my sealed form. On day 71 to 74, I entered the room that had haunted my dreams. This was definitely where the block that held my true form had been. I said had been because it wasn't there now. Someone had taken it. I felt its call again from far away and realized immediately what had happened. Tartarus must have been keeping the block in his own inventory. He was really determined to keep me from returning to my full self. He's probably on his way to Icemeister right now to hide the block again. I didn't want to have to fight Tartarus again, but if he was with Icemeister, the two of them would be unbeatable at my current level. Dejected, I left the empty vault behind. On days 75 to 78, I asked the Froststalkers I had recruited during the ice mob attack what they eat. Like Reginald, the Froststalkers ate fish too, so I used the destroyer to make the pond bigger. All of them will have enough to eat now.
You've really made this place feel like home for me. Have this. I think it'll help.
Reginald gave me a book with an enchantment that could make me take no extra damage from water. Thanks, Reg. This will come in handy next time I cross the river.
You're welcome, pal.
Well, aren't we awfully buddy-buddy?
Oh no, Tartarus!
Seems like you have a new best friend. I should have known you'd leave me behind.
Tartarus, where is my true form?
Doesn't matter. You're not yourself anymore. I'm going to end this bitter memory, once and for all.
He lunged forward. I drew the destroyer. Run, Reginald!
Be careful, Zozo.
The second battle between me and Tartarus began. I could still sense his moves, but he was fighting like I'd never seen him fight before. It took everything I had to keep on fighting until I struck him down at last.
That was a good hit. You weren't totally different after all.
Tartarus, why?
Listen closely, because I only have time to say this once. I brought Icemeister the legendary block, and he probably still has it.
That means I can get it back from him.
Yes, but pay attention. That sealed block has had its destructive energy reversed through enchantments. That's why all the plants grew so beautifully in that field above. They are all going to wilt away if you don't put it back.
But what about me? My power?
Looks like you'll have to make a difficult decision. I wish you luck.
Tartarus! Tartarus!
Hey, I'll still be there for you. Just absorb me, and I can help.
Okay, I absorbed Tartarus and grew even larger. I was close to a full-size Witherstorm now. I had 60 hearts and diamond-level durability. Thanks, buddy. I'll never forget my oldest friend. On day 79 to 84, I crossed the river without the bridge because I was too big to get swept up in the current. I took the forest route, saying hello to my friends the Froststalkers along the way. Hello.
Oh, hey there.
The voice came out of a nearby tree, or should I say, treant. Whoa, I didn't see you there.
Didn't mean to sneak up on ya. I'm the gardener of the field, and I've come to give this Icemeister fella a stern how do you do.
How do you do?
Doing quite well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm actually looking for Icemeister too. Believe it or not, we might be after the same item.
You mean the legendary power source that nourishes our crops?
Yep, I used to want to have it for a different reason, but I've decided it belongs in that vault where it can help people.
I like your thinking. You're not as mean and evil and scary as you look.
Thanks, I guess. I traveled together with the gardener until we saw a formidable fortress of snow and ice on the horizon.
I suppose that must be Icemeister's place. I would keep walking, but I'm pretty tired. You could say I'm bushed.
Same, and I have a feeling that he's not going to make this easy for us to get the block back. How about we return to my base for now and discuss strategy?
I like where your head's at, all three of them.
On days 85 to 89, I told the gardener of the field everything about my journey so far, including how I used to be a bad guy when I was the ruler of the Firelands and how I was trying to stop the war.
Sounds to me like you've seen and done a lot of things since you first spawned into this world so long ago. Changing into a better person from who you were in the past isn't easy, but that's what growing up is all about.
If only I could make Icemeister understand that. I don't think he'll ever forgive me, and that makes me sad.
Well, to be honest with you, Icemeister and you might never be friends, but there's a lesson in that. You are a being of pure destruction who brings fire down upon the world, while Icemeister creates snowy landscapes and gives a sense of urgency to all the creatures he meets. You two are polar opposites, and this world needs both of you.
Okay, I sorta understand, but how do I stop him from creating war? I just want the mobs to live in peace. I'll let you in on a little secret, Zozo. I was the one who enchanted that block.
Wait, you helped seal my powers?
Yes, and look how it turned out. Don't you feel free now?
I do, actually.
Well, there is your answer. Together, we will free Ice Meister from his ambitions, and the war will come to an end. I'll enchant the new sealing block, but you'll need to gather the raw materials.
Done. On days 90 to 94, I searched high and low for as many emeralds as I could find. After that, I traveled to every village on both sides of the river that would let me in. Sorry, I know I'm scary. Little by little, news spread across the land that I only wanted to trade emeralds for bottles of enchanting. They started treating me like a regular guy, which I really appreciated, even though I was too big to get inside the villages. Throughout my travels, I gathered a whole bunch of bottles of enchantment and returned to the gardener.
These will do. Give me a few days and I'll have the seal ready.
Awesome! With some of the leftover enchantment bottles, I decided to give myself the fire aspect enchantment. It worked! My wither skulls had turned red and could now catch any enemy that they hit on fire. On days 95 to 97, I completed the statue. It had been a statue of TARDIS all along. I didn't even know that when I started building it, but I guess there are some things you never forget, no matter how much you change. My oldest and most loyal friend would now be remembered as a beautiful statue for all to see, and every time I saw the statue, I would remember him.
You've done all right, Zozo. Thank you for remembering me.
Tartarus?
Yep, it's me.
I heard his voice inside of my head. Okay, this is kinda really weird.
Don't worry, I won't be doing this all the time. Just wanted to tell you that I'm proud you chose to put the legendary block back where it truly belongs.
Well, some things are more important than getting back something you lost, or even being the most powerful Fire Witherstorm in the world.
You'll always be #1 in my book.
Thanks, TARDIS. On day 98, I told the villagers that they could all go home if they wanted to, because very soon, there wouldn't be a war on either side of the river.
But this is our home.
Oh, right. I guess you fire guys can stay. What about you, Iceman?
We're not sure. There were so many great memories in this place. I don't know if we want to leave yet.
Oh, stay as long as you like.
Well, I'm definitely staying.
Of course, Reginald. I wouldn't have it any other way.
You're gonna go fight Ice Master soon, aren't you?
Yeah, buddy. It sure seems that way.
Do your best, okay? And come back safe. This base is not a home without you.
Of course I'll be back. Shortly after that, the gardener walked in with the new enchanted block we'd be using to seal Ice Meister's evil side.
Zozo, my boy, it is time. The sealing block is complete. We're going right now to the fortress of Ice Meister.
All right, let's go. I said my goodbyes to everyone at the base. This adventure is almost at the most exciting part, so soon I'll be saying goodbye to you too. But don't worry, we'll have lots of other adventures together. Subscribe to the channel and go watch some of my other ones after this. There are so many to enjoy, like the time I spent 100 days as a lava wither. On day 99, the gardener and I returned to the fortress of Ice Meister and found that it wasn't guarded at all. Where is everyone?
It looks like you've brought peace to this land after all, Zozo. Must have been all that traveling and trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, and most of all, he has no other mobs to fight for him. This is our chance! I blasted my way in and realized that I wasn't completely correct. There were traps everywhere that shot ice and snow at me and the gardener.
Oh, help! I'm not an evergreen tree. These cold temperatures are going to make my leaves fall off.
Just stay close to me. I'll keep you warm. A trap door opened up beneath us.
No, this is it!
No way! I jumped over the spikes and landed safely on the other side. Then I used my tractor beam to catch the gardener and grapple him to safety.
Thanks, you're using your Fire Witherstorm powers for good. Never thought I'd see the day.
You're right, I don't have to be a bad guy, even though I'm fiery and scary. I can help people just the way I am.
Now you know, let's go get your true form back.
You mean you're letting me have the other block?
Sure, the field only needs one at a time, and you've had your turn. Now, it's Ice Meister's turn.
I can't believe I'm going to be returning to my true form after all. This is so exciting! On day 100, the gardener and I came face to face with Ice Meister. He was holding the block that contained my true form. It's over, Ice Meister. Give back what you stole and we'll make this easy.
Easy? You think there's an easy way out of this? I don't think so. You're a Fire Witherstorm, and you're bad to the bone. Your path of destruction won't stop as long as you still exist.
No, it stops now. I'm good, and I can prove it to you.
Zozo is telling the truth, Ice Meister. Why don't you call it quits? Our plants need that block.
You mean this block?
Ice Meister held up the block with my true form inside and absorbed it, becoming a terrifying new version of himself. As if that weren't bad enough, Ice Meister also spawned a bunch of other snowmen to attack us.
Seize them, little ones.
The gardener looked at me and held up the new enchanted block. I'll fire the ceiling spell up. You keep him and his minions busy. You got it. I unleashed all my powers on the miniature snowmen. I made sure to clear all of them out first before facing off against Ice Meister.
You'll never defeat me, Zozo.
I already have. You thought absorbing that power you took from me would help you win, but destructive power like that should only be used responsibly.
And what would you know about that?
More than you'd think. We all get to decide who we are, and I've decided that this is my true form. As soon as I said that, I instantly grew back to full size. I had 180 hearts. Now the playing field was even. While the Ice Meister was distracted, the gardener finished charging his spell. Zozo, now, move! I dodged out of the way as a beam shot forth from the block. In an instant, it absorbed Ice Meister's evil form and left behind only a tiny snowball.
I'll get you for this.
Okay, but take your time. Maybe you could be the good guy this time. With the seal set in place, the gardener was able to save the crops at his field. Meanwhile, I went back to my base in the Firelands. It was peaceful for now, and I hoped that would last. Either way, it was a good day to be myself. On day 1, I spawned in as a lava wither. Wow, I'm so little, and I only have 4 hearts. I can still hover in the air a bit though, and yes, I can throw flaming wither skulls. Awesome, they don't seem very powerful though. It looked like I was in a town of some sort. All of a sudden, I was attacked by some villagers. One of them threw shears at me. How rude, but I'm keeping the shears. Hey, I know I threw some wither skulls, but I didn't hit anyone. I wasn't doing anything to you. I hurried and flew away, slowly. I wasn't very fast yet. Man, that was mean, but I can't afford to fight right now. I found a little cave and managed to find a corner that seemed safe. Tomorrow, I'll gather some supplies. And with that, I fell asleep. On day 2, I woke up feeling refreshed. I better get some supplies so I can build a shelter for myself. I actually liked the cave I was living in, so I decided to stay there. I chopped down some trees, and as I hit them, I saw that the trees were catching on fire. Oh, whoops! Smokey the Bear is going to be so mad at me. I'd have to be careful about what I touched, since it seems like I was pretty hot, literally. I had enough wood to make some tools for myself though. They were simple, but they did the trick. Then I almost made myself a nice little nook in the cave, but the pickaxe broke. I went to craft some stone tools, and while crafting, the crafting table set on fire. Oh man, I'll have to figure out a solution to this. I noticed that my hunger bar was getting a little low, but I didn't really know what withers like to eat. I guess I would have to go out and try a few things. I flew around the forest and found some mushrooms and other berries. I tried them, but it seemed like withers didn't like mushrooms. Ugh, looks like no fungi for this wither. I continued on and saw some animals. Maybe I would like some eggs or chicken. Sorry guys, I ate the raw chicken, but I didn't like that either, and it barely refilled my hunger bar. I explored some more, but it started to get dark, so I decided to head home for the night. I'll try looking for some other food tomorrow. Maybe a nice salad? On day 3, I went looking around for some plants and grass. I went for the grass, but it only dropped seeds. Then I had the idea to use the shears on it, and voila, I got some dried grass. I decided to eat some dried grass, and finally it refilled my hunger a decent amount. Weird, but whatever does the trick, I guess. As I was eating, I thought I saw something moving behind a tree. Hello? I didn't hear anything, so I assumed I was alone. I kept eating my dry grass. I went exploring and realized that I was on an island. The water was so clear and beautiful, I wanted to touch it. I reached out, and it hurt me. I don't think I like water anymore. I mean, I'm literally made of lava, so it makes sense. I made sure to gather up some grass for later. I flew away from the shore. I decided to explore closer to the center of the island. There were lots of trees and bushes. There seemed to be a mountain in the middle of the island. Wait, no, it was a volcano. Oh, wow. I flew a little closer to the lower part of the volcano and realized there was some lava inside. Ooh, that feels nice. All of a sudden, some lava spewed up at me, hitting me out of the air. Ouch! I quickly flew away and headed back to my cave for the night. On days 4 to 5, I left the cave to go exploring some more. I realized later that someone was following me. I wasn't sure what it was, but I could see it darting away when I wasn't looking. I decided to hide behind some rocks and then pop out at it. It came around the rock, and I scared it. Ah! Ah! It was just a little butterfly. Hey, what are you doing following me?
I'm not.
Okay, sure. I kept going and waited again for the butterfly to come around the bend of a rock. You are following me. Admit it.
Fine, I am, but I need your help.
Me? What can I help with?
You need to keep the island from exploding.
What? The butterfly sighed and flew away anxiously.
The island has been shaking and there have been small lava explosions. The town wise woman said that the island is going to be destroyed with a huge explosion. It can be prevented by a hero.
Me?
The town summoned you and you came, but one villager and his family were opposed to the whole thing, and he's the one that attacked you.
Rude.
Right? Anyway, you're our only hope.
Why me?
I assume it's because you're made of lava?
That would make sense, but I have no idea how to do that. I need to talk to the village wise woman.
Agreed.
The butterfly, who called herself Vanessa, led the way. On days 6 to 8, we arrived back at the village. We saw a few people around, but not many.
Those are the people who attacked you, Bruce and his son Bobby.
Vanessa pointed out some villagers outside with some pitchforks. They were arguing with some of the other villagers.
Here, I know how to get to the wise woman's house.
Vanessa led me around the back of some houses when we arrived at a home with a bell hanging outside. Nice.
I've been expecting you, young hero.
I flipped around to see a wise old woman with a basket of various dry grass on the table next to her.
I assume you are hungry.
Yes, thank you. She welcomed us in and she made Vanessa some tea.
You want to know how to defeat the volcano?
Oh, I don't even believe that I can. I'm so small.
You can. You just have a few steps to take.
She brought out what looked like an orb.
I knew that the volcano would erupt someday. The villagers turned to me to help, and I gave them a solution, but some would not listen. They will seek you out to hurt you. They believe you are evil and have ill intent.
Why would they think I'm evil?
Some withers are, but that is a choice, young friend. You choose your path. And for the sake of our island, I hope you choose wisely.
The orb suddenly started to glow, and I saw a figure inside. It looked like me, but bigger and stronger.
You can gain the ability to control the lava and tame the volcano, but it will take time. You will need to complete tasks in order to become the hero we so desperately need.
What do I need to do?
Only you will be able to know. The volcano will speak to you.
Speak to me? Interesting. It had gotten late, so the woman invited us to spend the night. On days 9 to 10, Vanessa and I woke up and went outside to collect some food from the old woman. Before we left, the wise woman said that in the vision, she also saw our struggles with setting things on fire. That's when she tossed out a cobblestone crafting table. Just what I need, thanks. Vanessa started to fly away.
I need to take care of some things, but you should go see what Bobby, one of the villagers, is doing.
I went ahead, and that's when I noticed a villager, who I assumed was Bobby, was outside among the other townsfolk. He looked angry. Then all of a sudden, he jabbed his pitchfork at an innocent villager.
Defend them.
Where did that voice come from? I decided to listen to it. Hey, leave them alone! I dashed over to help the villager and stop Bobby.
Get back, you devil! We don't want you here!
Bobby tried to stab at me, but I moved out of the way. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to save the island. Just please stop hurting people. Bobby looked surprised.
You're not going to eat us?
Ew, gross! I mean, no, why would I do that? Bobby looked shocked and he lowered his pitchfork.
My father has been telling everyone that withers are evil and can never be trusted. They feed on the souls of men.
Well, I definitely don't. I just like grass. Bobby seemed confused, but also relieved. He looked at me and nodded.
I will follow you, Tiny Wither. I know that I had my doubts, but you seem like you really care about our people and our island.
And I did. I knew they were just trying to make their way in the world like me. We could all live together in harmony. Just then, Bobby's father, Bruce, ran out of the house with a pitchfork. He ran towards me, but Bobby blocked him.
Dad, don't hurt him. He's just trying to help.
Get out of the way, boy. You don't know what you're talking about.
Then Bruce jabbed his pitchfork at Bobby.
Defend them.
Hey, leave them alone.
I spun towards Bruce, pushing him away. As I did, I threw one of my tiny little flaming wither skulls at him. It wasn't much, but it did a little bit of damage. It also gave him some wither effect.
You see? He's an evil creature. He will only cause pain and misery wherever he goes.
I am not evil. The only evil here is you. And with that, threw another flaming wither skull. It didn't take Bruce out, but it did bring him down.
Stop him. Make sure he doesn't hurt our friend again.
Bobby smiled at me and chained Bruce up, took his pitchforks, and took him off to the jail.
I'll come for you, Wither. You won't succeed in your evil plan.
Bobby came back over as Vanessa flew back as well.
Thank you,
Zozo.
Zozo. Thank you, Zozo. You are a welcome friend.
All of a sudden, I felt a power surge through me, and I leveled up into a slightly bigger wither. I had more hearts, and my flaming wither skull seemed more powerful too. Then I heard the ethereal voice again.
Well done, Zozo.
I looked around, but I didn't see where it came from.
Wow, neat.
Vanessa flew around me and did a little happy dance? I don't know, but it looked fun.
Wow, that was amazing.
Thanks. Now let's see what my new wither skulls can do. I launched some skulls and saw that they did more damage than before. There was more room to grow, but this was definitely a good start. I felt amazing. I also felt a warmth in my heart. I think the voice I heard was the volcano calling to me. I defended the people, and it was happy. On days 11 to 12, Bobby helped me build a house in the village. Well, it was more like a nice cave in the side of a rock, since I would burn wood if I touched it. We figured that I should stay close. Vanessa flew in and saw that I was making a new home, and informed me that while she was gone before, she had decorated my old cave. And now that I was building a new place to live, she was sad I wouldn't be using her improvements. I told her not to worry, as I planned on bringing everything she had done in the old base to this new one. She seemed to like that and did her little happy dance. As I made my way to the cave, I noticed some spiders outside of it. They weren't too much of a threat and I took them out easily. Easy peasy. I ate a bit of grass while looking at the new entrance of the cave, and one of the small spiders jumped up behind me and tried to bite me. I took it out with one hit. I went in and gathered my things, but before I could grab all of them, a huge spider dropped down from the ceiling. Aw, gross!
Who you calling gross, you three-headed freak?
Hey, that's not very nice. The spider lunged at me and I dodged around him. I was able to use my fireballs, but he kept getting hits in. I didn't think I could defeat him, but I managed to take him down. Phew, that was close. I guess I wasn't as strong as I thought. I still had a long ways to go before confronting the volcano. I gathered the rest of my things and headed back to the village. On days 13 to 15, I made my way back to my new cave. On the way, I noticed a small alcove and decided to mine out some materials. I found some cobblestone, iron, clay, blackstone, diorite, and of course, some flowers. Perfect, I can make these into better tools and armor. I can also use them to upgrade my base. I made my way back to the village with my new materials, excited about what I had found. When I got back, some of the houses were on fire. Vanessa flew up to me.
Zozo, the volcano erupted. It was just a small one, but some fireballs fell down from the sky and burned up some houses.
I looked around and knew I needed help. Bobby threw an empty bucket at me, and I hurried to the ocean to help take out the fire with the water bucket. Since I wasn't touching the water directly, I was fine and didn't get hurt. I asked Bobby to come with me, and we mined out some more stone. We needed to fireproof the houses, just in case. We helped the villagers make some improvements to their homes so they wouldn't catch fire again. It was hard work, but we all felt a little safer afterwards. Except I didn't get why the volcano was telling me to do things and then attacking people. There had to be some sort of explanation. While I thought about that, I decided to finish up my cave home by adding all of the things I had gotten from my old base. I also used some of the materials I had mined earlier, and last of all, I smelted down the iron so that I could craft some better tools and armor. On days 16 to 19, I woke up to the voice again.
Be strong for them.
I didn't know exactly what that meant, but I needed to find out. I went to the wise woman again and told her that the volcano had spoken to me. I also told her I didn't understand why it would attack the villagers.
To answer that question, you must talk to Bruce.
Bruce? The guy that tried to hurt me?
Precisely.
I didn't understand why, but I'm sure I would figure it out.
Subscribe.
Subscribe? Well, I guess if the volcano said it, then it's pretty important. I made my way out of the house into the jail cell where Bruce was being kept. I need to talk to you, Bruce.
Never.
He spit at me. Why do you hate me so much? He ignored me. I guess I could try again later. I headed out and went to find Bobby and Vanessa. I told them all about the volcano speaking to me and about Bruce. Bobby didn't seem surprised.
My dad doesn't really talk that much. It would take a miracle to find out what he knows.
Great, off to a strong start. I got back to my cave and made some better upgrades to my house. I even built Vanessa a little nook to stay in. She seemed to really like it.
Thanks, Zozo. You're awesome.
She really did know how to put a smile on my faces. On days 20 to 22, I woke up with that same voice in my head.
Be strong for them.
Can you at least tell me how? Silence. Great. I got up and decided to go out to the beachfront to look for some things and gather supplies. It was beautiful, but I had learned my lesson about water. Just then, a huge crab came out and tried to snatch me. Luckily, I was made of lava and I burnt him.
Ouch, that's rude. I wanted to eat you.
Trust me, you don't want to eat me. The crab looked at me, confused.
You're not a shrimp with 3 heads?
No, I'm a lava wither. Zozo, to be exact.
A lava wither? Haven't seen one of those since the last one was summoned.
Wait, there was another one? When? The crab clicked his claws for a minute and thought.
Probably like 40 years ago. Something like that. That was a small thing then.
This was new information. Thanks, you've been a big help.
I would say thanks to you, but you're not a shrimp, so I'm even hungrier.
And with that, the crab skittered away. What a weird guy. We had almost forgotten why we came to the beach, but then remembered and picked up some more sand. On days 23 to 26, I headed back to the village and started smelting the sand. Vanessa and Bobby came to say good morning. I told Bobby and Vanessa about what I learned from the crab.
Another wither was summoned? I wonder why nobody ever mentioned it.
Yeah, I wonder. I decided to talk to the wise woman again. She would have been around then, so she must know something. I confronted her and she sighed.
I had hoped that Bruce would have told you, but I suppose I must.
She grabbed her orb again and I saw images flash across it.
About 40 years ago, 2 young men in the village decided to play with magic. They had read about withers and decided that they wanted to summon one. They grabbed the items required from a weird magical room. They went about it correctly, but there are always risks. Once the wither was summoned, using magma blocks and wither skulls, it befriended the 2 young men. They kept it secret for a long time, but the wither wanted to be free. The boys promised that they would let him go, but they never did. The wither grew bitter and despised humans, especially the ones who had summoned him. One day, he managed to break free from its bonds. There was an argument between the 3, but the wither had had enough.
He attacked the village and the two young men.
Let me guess.
Bruce was one of those young men. The other died trying to save Bruce's life. His name was Marcus.
So what happened to the Wither?
It laid the village to ruins, destroying most, and then escaped, taking captivity in the volcano. It grew over time and now inhabits it. It seeks revenge on all humans, but it's been biding its time.
So it's not the volcano that is attacking people. It's the Wither living inside. The old woman nodded.
But the spirit of the volcano has been battling with it for many years. It has grown weak, nearly on the brink of collapse. That is why we need you, Zozo. You must restore the volcano and defeat the Wither corrupting it.
That was a lot to process. This Wither had been growing for over 40 years. How could a small Wither like me stand against something so powerful? On days 27 to 31, I woke up and knew where I needed to go. I went to Bruce and told him what I had learned. He looked tired today, not as angry.
I know what I did was wrong. I messed with power that I had no right to use. I wanted something special, and I treated it like garbage. It's all my fault that this is happening, but I can't fix it.
He seemed so sad, but I knew what I needed to say. That's why I'm here. I will protect you. All of you. Bruce looked at me and he smiled.
I owe you my life, Zozo. Thank you.
I unlocked the gate and let Bruce out of the jail. He couldn't embrace me, so he bowed a little bit instead.
I will follow you, little Wither. You are our strength.
Just then, I felt another surge of power, and I leveled up into a bigger Wither. I was now adult size. I felt that calm again, and then I heard the voice.
Well done, Zozo.
I was on the right path. Now, I just needed to prepare. On days 32 to 35, I tested out my new abilities. I could shoot bigger fireballs and could even fly faster. Bobby heard the explosion and came to take a look at what was happening. He was impressed. Bobby gave some materials and helped to set up an obstacle course with some targets to train with. We had to keep some water on hand though, so I wouldn't burn up all the trees.
Careful, Zozo!
I'm trying. I just have no idea what to expect. I'll be fighting another Wither, and I'm not even sure what tricks he has up his sleeve. Just then, I saw Bruce. He came over and decided to help me out too. He showed me how to do the crawling exercise. I was too big for it, so I just flew over the obstacle. Bruce was not impressed. He then showed me how to aim my shots with some target practice. I think I'm getting the hang of it. I had hit the target, but Bruce suddenly drew his bow at me. He started shooting, and I successfully dodged some arrows, but some hit me. When he stopped, he told me he was trying to teach me how to dodge. You could have given me a heads up first, but hey, thanks for your help.
No problem, Zozo. Anything for you.
Anything?
Within reason.
Good to know. He smiled and we all headed back to the village for some food. When we got there was a commotion at the center square. What's going on?
A small eruption came up out of the ground and swallowed a house.
We looked and indeed, there was a large spot where the house should have been. Instead, there was a pool of lava. Was anyone inside?
No, thank goodness, but it's not safe here.
The villagers all argued until Bruce hushed them.
We will take care of this. We will fortify the village and take precautions.
The villagers seemed a little at ease, but still scared. I was going to give it my all to protect these people. I just needed to know what to do next. On days 36 to 39, I waited for the voice of the volcano to guide me. There wasn't anything, and I felt a little bit frustrated. Why aren't you talking to me? Nothing. I decided that I would just wait, patiently, or at least try to. Bruce and I helped to further fortify the village. He threw us some materials, and we made some cobblestone walls. As we were doing so, Bruce brought up another idea.
Hey, Zozo, we want to build a statue in your honor. Also, as a reminder of hope. Do you have anything in mind?
I thought for a minute and then told Bruce what I would like. He smiled.
That sounds perfect.
We gathered the needed supplies and started to clear a spot for the statue. We built part of the base and hope to get it all done in a few days. Can you tell what it is? On days 40 to 43, we went out to explore the island. I guess I had some other things I needed to do before the volcano would speak to me again. We went looking around the volcano when something caught my eye. It was a large cave. I went in and saw that there were some diamonds. I quickly mined them all up along with some other materials. With this, I can make some diamond armor. Neat! I noticed some lava running through a part of the tunnel and wondered if that's how the houses were being swallowed up. I tried to create some barriers just in case. It felt so nice and warm, I decided to take a break and enjoy the lava. Just then, I felt something grab me from behind. I managed to squirm around and saw a giant squid was dragging me into the water. I wasn't burning him because his tentacles were wet, so I was helpless. Oh no! He swam into the water, pulling me with him. When I touched the water, I solidified and was basically useless. I tried to gurgle to make him stop, but he kept swimming further and further down. I saw my hearts dropping and thought this was the end. Just then, the squid released me into an alcove. Out of the water, I transformed back into a lava wither. My warm heart was enough to melt the stone back into lava. Hey!
There you go, friend. I have saved you.
Saved me? You almost destroyed me! The squid looked confused.
Wait, you're not Lily.
No, who's Lily?
My daughter!
I looked around and saw some axolotls coming up to me.
That's not her, Paul. You need to stop snatching people.
I looked at the axolotl and she looked at me. There was absolutely no resemblance.
Sorry about Paul. He is Lily's friend and she disappeared a few days ago. We think she might have been kidnapped by the other clan of axolotls. They live nearby, but their keep is protected by a shark.
Well, it sounds like you need help. I'll go look for her and bring her back to you.
Really? Wow, that is so kind of you. Here, you will probably need this.
The axolotl gave me a diving suit. I guess that solved the problem of me not being able to go into the water. Off onto another adventure. On days 44 to 49, Paul guided us close to the rival axolotl clan. He suddenly stopped and told us he saw the blue axolotl somewhere around here one time, but not sure exactly where. We thanked him anyway. I was close to the surface and took a look to see where I was. I recognized the area. I was next to the dry grass field. This was a great opportunity to use the diamonds I got, so I crafted a diamond sword, pickaxe, and shovel. That's when the crafting table caught on fire. Ah, not this again. The bench broke before we could craft all of the diamonds. Darn it. Well, at least I got some tools. Better than nothing, I guess. That's when I noticed a nice-looking lagoon. Inside of it, I spotted a cave. It seemed empty, so I made my way underwater to take a look. Inside the cave, I thought I could see the axolotls hiding in there. Just then, I was attacked by a shark. Hey, I'm just trying to save Lily. The shark didn't respond. He kept attacking me. Luckily, I had crafted a new sword, so I was able to take him out pretty quickly. I swam up to the cave and emerged from the water onto a dry area. The axolotls looked terrified of me. I just want to take Lily back home. One larger blue axolotl moved forward.
Lily is where she belongs. She loves me and wants to stay here.
I didn't see Lily anywhere, so I really didn't trust this guy. Then I heard a voice.
Help! I'm in here!
That must have been Lily. Her own choice, huh? The blue axolotl jumped at me and attacked. The other axolotls backed away, clearly frightened. I was able to take down the leader quickly, and the other axolotls thanked me. Thank you, stranger. We've been captive to Blake for far too long. He wouldn't let us out, and he kidnapped Lily as a way to start a war with the pink axolotls. Why? He was obsessed with Lily for months and wanted to marry her, but she said no. Then a few days ago, he captured her. Well, you're all safe now. I went around the corner and found Lily trapped in a cave. I freed her and we all left the lagoon. I knew what I had to do. On days 50 to 53, I went back to the alcove of the pink axolotls with the blue axolotls and explained the situation. They made a truce, and Lily's mom was more than happy to have her daughter home.
We owe you a great debt, Zozo. Take this as a token of our gratitude.
Then Lily's mom gave me a huge stash of diamonds. Wow, thank you!
Of course, if what I heard is true, you are embarking on a great quest to save our island. You will need it more than we do.
I thanked them again and then started the long journey back home. On days 54 to 57, I heard the voice of the volcano speak to me.
Sacrifice for them.
Sacrifice? I could do that. I just needed to figure out how. I quickly made myself an armor stand and hung my diving suit up. As I got to town, I noticed that the wise woman was outside looking at the sky.
Welcome back, Zozo. You have been gone for a long while.
I got mistaken for an axolotl and ended up saving the kidnapped daughter and joining the clans together.
Yes, as I expected.
I looked at her. She was still looking at the sky. She was an odd one, she was.
Another 2 houses have collapsed while you've been gone. We did our best, but the Wither grows angry. He is nearly on the brink of taking over the volcano.
I was really worried. Maybe the villagers could leave the island and find refuge somewhere else. I suggested it to the wise woman.
We don't run away from our problems, Zozo.
Not run away, just stay somewhere else.
We are safer here with you.
I turned and saw Bruce and Bobby approaching me. Are you sure?
Yes, young friend. All will be well soon enough.
We all looked at the sky together for a minute. Then Bobby leaned over and whispered to me.
What are we looking at?
We slowly backed away as the wise woman continued to look at the sky. We went and gathered some more supplies so we could continue to work on the statue. It was basically done, we just needed a few finishing touches. We also built some new houses and made sure that the foundations were solid. We also built them over the water in hopes that the other Wither would be less likely to attack them. The Wither would try to take us down, but we would prevail. On days 58 to 62, I woke up to Vanessa flying around nervously. What's wrong, Vanessa?
I think there's a storm coming, Zozo. Look!
I looked outside and sure enough, it started to rain. I guess I could try to walk around in my diving suit, but it would definitely make me slower. I don't think I should go outside.
I can't either. One raindrop could really hurt me badly.
I hadn't thought about that, but it made sense that Vanessa was pretty fragile. Her wings were paper thin. It's okay though, we can have a day in. We can play a game. Vanessa flew around me excitedly. We ended up playing some games, and she shared stories of her family. Where are they now?
I'm not sure exactly. They all migrated when I was still little. My wing was hurt, so I couldn't go with them.
That made me really sad. So they abandoned you? Vanessa landed. Her wings drooped a little bit. It's okay, Vanessa. I won't abandon you. I promise. Her wings lifted a little bit, and she fluttered around again.
Thanks, Zozo. You're a good friend.
Sacrifice for them.
I sighed. I'm trying. Bobby and Bruce eventually came over looking for us. We explained the situation, and they helped build a little overhang so we could travel to and from the village safely. I was really grateful and made some food for everyone. A little while later, I took the diamonds I had been given and made myself some nicer armor. Wow, this stuff was amazing. I could take on anything with this. On days 63 to 66, I went out to go test my new armor. I went out to the jungle area where I hadn't been before. Maybe I could find some more food items. I was getting a little bit low on dried grass and only had 5 peas left. Vanessa had told me about something called chocolate, and it didn't sound half bad. I would go looking for some cocoa beans. I was foraging through the trees when I entered a clearing. It looked like there was something written in the ground. It was that thing that the volcano had said to me. Be sure to listen to that little voice in your head telling you to subscribe. I started gathering some dried grass when all of a sudden I heard some loud screaming. I didn't see anyone around me, but then I realized it was coming from the sky. The volcano was spewing fireballs. I hurried and dodged around them, but one hit me. It was small, but it was enough to knock me over. Apparently, these fireballs are extremely hot since they set me on fire. What is this magic? I'm not supposed to burn. Another fireball hit me. Ouch, stop that.
What's the matter? Can't take a little heat?
I looked around but didn't see anyone. It sounded like the voice of the volcano, but much harsher. Hello?
Small little wither, you are nothing, but I can make you great.
I assumed it was the Wither inhabiting the volcano. I'm not listening to you.
Why not? We are, after all, brothers.
I'm not your brother. You are a bully preying on the innocent.
Innocent? They captured me and kept me as a pet. I knew I was destined for more. I had my revenge with the power I possessed, but I am so much more now. The time will come when I obtain all the power of the volcano, and then I will truly have my revenge.
What they did was wrong, but they're sorry. You don't need to blow up the entire island because you're mad. The voice screamed and fireballs rained down around me. I tried to dodge, but I couldn't handle all of it. A fireball hit me and everything went black. On days 67 to 70, I woke up in darkness. After a minute, my body lit up the space, and I realized I was buried. Oh, great. Now I have to dig my way out. I started using my tools to chip away at the hardened lava. It took a few minutes, but I was finally able to free myself. The clearing I had been in was now just a large pool of lava. Good thing I was made of the stuff, otherwise I would have been trapped. I flew over the hot magma and started to make my way back to the village. If the Wither had thrown this big of a tantrum here, I'm sure he did some damage to the village. When I arrived, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. I realized the Wither must have used up all his strength trying to hurt me. I was relieved. Just then, I saw Bobby running up to meet me.
Zozo, come quick!
I followed after him into his house. What's wrong?
It's my dad. I can't find him anywhere.
I thought for a minute, then something dawned on me. He must have gone to talk with the Wither in the volcano. That's the only thing I can think of. Bobby looked sick to his stomach.
He doesn't need to do that.
He probably feels responsible, but don't worry, Bobby. I'll go find him. I hurried and flew back to my cave to gather some supplies. On my way out, I noticed Bobby was waiting for me with a pack on his back.
I'm coming with you.
It's too dangerous, Bobby.
It's my dad. I have to do something.
He was right. I wouldn't want to stay behind either.
He will probably go back to where it all started, on the desolate side of the island.
Then that's where we'll go. On days 71 to 74, we went tromping through the island slowly. Bobby couldn't fly like me, but I wanted to keep a low profile anyways. We mostly traveled in the jungle and gathered food as we went. Hey, more cocoa beans! I totally forgot to make chocolate when I was in the village. I'll have to do that when I get back.
Sacrifice for them.
Sacrifice what? The cocoa beans? I think the volcano was losing it. We kept traveling and came upon a small pond. We made a small shelter and decided to stay there for the night. Bobby couldn't really sleep because he was so worried about his dad. It's okay, Bobby. We'll find him.
I sure hope so.
It was quiet for a while, but then out of nowhere came some more spiders. Ah, gross! Bobby helped me fight them off, and in no time they were all gone.
Now I really won't be able to sleep.
I'll keep watch, don't worry. Bobby nodded and then managed to eventually fall asleep. I hoped I could keep my promise to him. He really needed his dad, and I didn't want to see him lose him. On days 75 to 78, we kept trekking through the jungle. I could tell that Bobby was really tired, but he kept pushing through. We came to a large cliffside and realized that we needed to climb up it. We started to ascend, but then the island started to shake. Zozo! The island kept shaking, and then suddenly the cliffside split. Bobby fell halfway into the cliff and managed to hold onto a ledge. I looked down and noticed Bobby was barely holding on. I went to grab him, but remembered I would burn him. Zozo, move! I maneuvered around them and managed to get to the ledge. Then I mined some blocks and created a safe path for Bobby to get back to safety. Wow, that was intense. You're telling me. We waited for a minute, just in case there was another earthquake. I hope the villagers are okay. I'm sure it's fine. I wasn't too sure, but I had to be hopeful. I need a break and some water. I nodded and let him rest for a bit. We decided to make camp and I made a small shelter. We set up a fire and Bobby was able to fall asleep right away. Having a near-death experience will do that to you. On day 79 to 84, we trekked further down the side of the volcano. We finally made it to the bottom, and just as expected, there was a barren wasteland. Everything was dried up and dusty. Bobby looked around in awe. This is empty? Sad. I nodded in agreement. So much destruction and pain. It needed to be healed and restored to the way it once was. We started to make our way through, but then Bobby was attacked by some snakes. Ouch! He stabbed them with his pitchfork, but more were getting bites in. Hey, stop it! I threw fireballs at them and managed to take them out, but Bobby looked pretty bad. You okay, buddy? I think I've been poisoned. I need some medicine. It's in my bag. He managed to grab some and take it. The wilderness is not kind to you, my friend. Bobby laughed. No, it is not. After this, I'm never leaving home again. His laugh got quiet. I wonder how my dad is doing with all of this. You're weak. I'll go get you some food. Where? I looked around. Touché. Instead, I located a large dead branch and severed part of it off. I gave it to Bobby to use as a crutch. Thanks. We slowly but surely made our way further into the wasteland. On days 85 to 89, Bobby and I arrived at what looked like the remnants of a village. Some of the stones were still there, but there wasn't much. This must be it. My dad has got to be close by. Bobby threw down his crutch and went scrambling around the ruins. I went looking around but didn't see much. Then I noticed something shining across the land. I flew toward it and saw a metal-looking container buried in the ground. I unearthed it and discovered it was a cage. Bobby came up beside me. Is that?
It's where I kept it.
We both flipped around to see Bruce emerging from a small hole in the ground. It was partially hidden by a rock, which is why we didn't notice it in the first place. Bruce approached us and touched the side of the cage.
It's where I kept Aiden, the other wither.
Bruce seemed really upset and he started to cry.
I've made so many mistakes. All of this is my fault. I need to fix what I broke.
Not like this, Dad. Don't sacrifice yourself. You only give him what he wants. Bruce didn't say much else, but we followed him into a small cave. We stayed there for a while to rest up while I devised a plan. On days 90 to 94, I woke up to Bobby yelling at Bruce. It's not your responsibility.
Yes, it is. Don't try to stop me, Bobby. I'm doing this for you. For all of you.
What about Zozo? He promised he would help us, and he will.
I can't let someone innocent pay for my mistakes. Not anymore. Sacrifice for them.
I knew what I needed to do. Bruce went back to his room in a huff, and I came up to Bobby. I know what I have to do. Just promise that you won't follow me, and make sure your dad stays here. Is this goodbye, Zozo? No, I'll be back. Don't you worry. Bobby nodded and then went up to the opening of his dad's room. We lured Bruce towards the cage, telling him that we found something interesting in there. When Bruce wasn't looking, we pulled him inside the cage and locked the door. He looked stunned. This is for your own good, Bruce. Don't follow me. He sat there and begged me.
Please, Zozo.
It's okay, Bruce. It's what I'm supposed to do. On days 95 to 97, I continued flying toward the volcano. It spewed lava here and there, but I dodged past it. When I was a good distance away, I stopped and hovered. Aiden, I've come to talk to you. The voice I heard before let out an ugly scream and spewed more lava at me.
You dare to call me what that monster named me?
I'm here to take his place, Aiden. I know you hate him, but he needs to live. Take me instead. I saw the lava spew out further, almost hitting me.
Why would you sacrifice yourself for such measly humans?
Because it's the right thing to do. The voice laughed.
Oh, this will be fun.
I moved closer to the volcano to see if I could spot Aiden. Suddenly, the volcano reached out and snatched me, pulling me into its burning embrace. Everything went black. On day 98, I woke up inside the lava. I heard the voice of the volcano.
Well done, Zozo.
I felt a powerful surge run through me, and I burst from the ground into the air. I leveled up into a full-sized wither. But then I felt a different kind of power. It was much bigger and stronger than me. I realized I could control the volcano. I focused my energy and forced Aiden to fly out. He was out of the volcano, but the fight wasn't over. He was as big as I was, probably stronger. But what choice did I have? I flew toward him, spewing lava and shooting witherheads. He fired witherheads back at me, but at long last, one of my wither skulls knocked Aiden down. On day 99, I approached Aiden. He looked like a normal wither like me, but he shook with anger.
How dare you! That was my home!
You have no right to use all that power for evil. This ends here, Aiden. I commanded the lava to burst up and around him and solidify to his body, caging him in. He was stuck, and he knew it.
Let me go! I have to make them pay! They're all evil and can't change. They don't deserve to live.
You're wrong, Aiden. And with that, I slashed at Aiden and defeated him.
Thank you, my friend. You have proven yourself worthy of my power.
The volcano spoke to my mind, and I felt a stronger connection with it. I was now its guardian, if I stayed worthy of it. It felt right. On day 100, I freed Bruce and told him the good news. He followed me and Bobby back to the village, where we all lived happily and safely. The people celebrated, and I finally made some chocolate chip cookies. We also finished the last part of the statue, and it looked awesome. Everything was right on the island. Finally. On day 1, I spawned in as a lethal poison lizard in the middle of the deep, dark Zelkova forest. Oh, I look like I'm one rad reptile, even though I'm just a little baby lizard. I wonder if I have any powers. I walked over to a tree and swiped at it. I didn't even have a tool or weapon, but it turned out I had a set of awesome poison claws that I could use for claw-based attacks. I certainly wouldn't want to mess with me. But just because I wouldn't mess with me doesn't mean other people wouldn't. This point was proven when a huge, dog-headed guy charged through the forest towards me.
You dares invade the overworld of the mighty Lord Anubis? You are a trespasser, and all trespassers will be annihilated.
Maybe we can work this out. What if I did some work for you? I'm really good at completing quests.
What kind of value would I ever find in a nasty little poison lizard? To have you in my royal sight disgusts me. I will crush you, destroy you, leave not even a memory of your presence. Prepare to meet your doom, lizard!
Before I could even try to reason with him, Anubis blasted a fireball near to me. I didn't feel like taking my chances. I just turned and ran off as fast as I could. Oh no, I'm gonna need to get strong enough to defeat that guy, or I'm toast. I guess being a poison lizard doesn't win you many friends right off the bat. I hid in the forest, but that didn't mean I was out of the woods yet, literally. On day 2, I continued my journey through the forest. It wasn't long until I felt my reptilian stomach rumble and decided that I needed to source some food. I don't see anything meaty around here, so I guess I'll settle for some fruit. Is there an apple tree anywhere near me? I searched for a little while until I found one, before striking it down with my poison claws and grabbing some yummy apples to eat. At least I know now that I won't keel over from hunger. It'll probably be that evil jackal god with the fireballs that does me in. Speaking of the devil, I saw a desiccated desert mummy walking out of the trees near to me. He didn't look friendly, I can tell you that much.
You must be the nasty little lizard that the great Lord Anubis told me about.
Of course you work for him, but why? He doesn't seem like he'd be a chill boss.
Fool! Anubis was the lord of the underworld, and with our help, he has conquered the overworld too. All who defy him must be eliminated.
Not if I have anything to say about it. I struck him with my poison claw attacks, but seeing that the desert mummy was already undead, my poison didn't affect him much. He was too strong. Uh-oh, all I could do was turn around and run. And I kept running until the desert mummy was fully out of sight. It was so frustrating to not be strong enough to defeat anyone. But when I stopped to rest, a ghost miner suddenly materialized right in front of me. Oh no, are you gonna attack me too?
No, Zozo. I am your spirit guide. It is up to me to help you fulfill your destiny.
My destiny?
It is unsafe to discuss here. Come with me.
He talked a good game, so I walked after the mysterious ghost miner. On day 3, the ghostly miner kept leading me through the Zelkova forest until we came upon a strange little cottage in the middle of the woods. This place seems a little suspicious.
This is the dwelling of the mystery sheep, Zozo. He is one of the allies that will help you along your journey to fulfilling your true destiny. Trust in me, and all will be okay in the end.
The ghost miner disappeared. He was certainly a strange guy, but who was I to disagree with the advice of my spirit guardian? Time to speak to the mystery sheep, I guess. I patiently waited at the door until it opened, and the mystery sheep trotted out.
What brings you here, stranger?
I was told to visit you by my spirit guide. He told me that you could help me fulfill my destiny.
Oh, yes? And what is your destiny?
Good question. I'm not entirely sure, but it's gotta have something to do with defeating this Lord Anubis guy who attacked me as soon as I arrived.
Ah, Lord Anubis, an arrogant little god, and vain too. I can see why he would despise a little poison lizard like you. But there's good news in that, my friend. If he underestimates you, then you can take him by surprise. If you do that, then you may have a chance to defeat him.
With that advice, I left the cottage to go make my own way in the world. The mystery sheep is right. Underestimating me might be the worst mistake that Anubis ever made. From day 4 to day 5, I kept searching until I found a little clearing in the Zelkova forest, big enough to build a little base for myself. I'm never gonna get strong enough to defeat Anubis if I don't learn to be independent. But I can't accomplish my goals if I don't have the right tools. That's why I slashed down a tree and used its resources to build myself a wooden pickaxe. Then, I didn't waste any time digging into the ground to collect some stone and craft myself a stone pickaxe and a stone sword. The stone sword will be useful if I run into another one of those freaky desert mummies. With my tool building work done for the day, I finally put some effort into building a little base. I made it out of wood and stone to keep it sturdy and made myself a little bedroom where I could relax when I wasn't out adventuring. My day's progress made my spirit guide, the ghost miner, materialize right in front of me.
Zozo, you have done well. Every step you take brings you closer to your destiny.
Thank you, Ghost Miner. Your advice has been super helpful.
Good. I have a gift for you. Take some of my ghostly energy and feel your power grow.
The Ghost Miner hit me with a blast of powerful spirit energy right in my face, and I could immediately feel myself getting bigger and stronger. I now had 20 hearts, more powerful attacks, and the ability to fire poison blasts.
You will be the one to save us all, Zozo.
From day 6 to day 8, I ventured out of the Zelkova forest for the first time. I decided to wander around the Badlands, which had a warmer climate that's perfect for a cold-blooded poison lizard like me. Feels good to feel the warmth on my scales. But my trip to the Badlands wasn't just an exercise in pure escapism and relaxation. As I walked, I was suddenly ambushed by the same desert mummy who had attacked me earlier.
Time for some pest control. I'm going to destroy you once and for all, you nasty little poison lizard, for the glory of the great Lord Anubis.
I'm not gonna be that easy, Mr. Mummy. I'm a lot stronger than I used to be.
You think that matters to Lord Anubis? I'm just one of his mummy's servants. Death is just the beginning, Zozo.
No, it's the end. I fired one of my poison blasts at the mummy to slow him down, then ran in with my stone sword to dash him and slash him until he poofed into nothing. That's what you get for bullying me, you beastly bundle of bandages.
I'm impressed, Zozo. Well done.
I turned and saw a mysterious forest guardian standing right behind me.
You have proven yourself to be a potential friend of the forest, my son. And if you help me rid this sacred place of evil, then I can give you wondrous prizes and powers. Do you agree to help me, Zozo?
That sounds like a great deal to me. Let's go. From day 9 to day 10, I followed the guardian of the forest deeper into the Badlands. It didn't take him long to lead me to a location where a huge, terrifying spider queen was waiting. That's what he wants me to slay? Yikes, I guess I'll try my best. I ran in and tried to mount a sneak attack on the Spider Queen, but my attacks weren't strong enough to leave any lasting damage, and I couldn't say the same for her attacks against me. I ran away as fast as I could until I rendezvoused with the Guardian of the Forest and told him what happened.
I'm sorry for sending you into danger like that, Zozo. All things considered, you're lucky to be alive. Perhaps being a poison lizard allowed you to have a greater immunity to her Spider Queen venom.
I think when I'm stronger, I'll be able to take her down. In the meantime, why don't you come and stay at my base? I really need to gain some allies right now for a battle I'm fighting against Lord Anubis right now.
Of course. You have assisted in my battle, so I will assist in yours. Lead the way, Zozo.
From day 11 to day 12, I returned to my base with the Guardian of the Forest. I immediately set to work, making him a room on the grounds of the base where he could stay while I was training. It wasn't all that impressive, but it was probably a decent place to get some rest at night. After I was done building, the Guardian came over to me with some good news.
I've built some upgrades for your base, Zozo, as an apology for putting you in a dangerous situation before. Go take a look.
The Guardian of the Forest had clearly used his supernatural powers to work fast. He'd built 3 upgrades: a chicken farm with a few chickens already herded inside, a storage room for spare equipment, and a furnace for smelting raw materials. This is incredible, thank you! And in fact, this gives me an idea. I went into a deep cave next to my base, and I explored inside until I found some iron ore, and used my stone pickaxe to mine it. Then, I went back to my base, used the furnace to smelt the ore into ingots, and turned those ingots into an iron sword and an iron pickaxe. I'm really moving up in the world! From day 13 to day 15, the ghost miner, my spirit guide, materialized into the base.
Zozo, you must return to the Badlands.
But why spirit guide?
Another one of Anubis's minions, the Desert Mummy, is waiting there. If you defeat him, you will ascend to the next level of strength.
As you wish, spirit guide. I ventured out to the Badlands again, and it didn't take me long to find the exact Desert Mummy that the ghost miner had told me about. I pulled out my new iron sword, ran in, and attacked until the Desert Mummy was no more. And this gave me enough XP to upgrade again and level up, getting me up to 30 hearts and giving me a bigger, stronger body and more powerful attacks. Whoa, the ghost miner is always worth listening to. From day 16 to day 19, I decided to go and explore the strange, eerie Weeping Witch Forest. It's like something out of a fairy tale, a really weird, spooky fairy tale. And it was an interesting place to explore anyway. It was cold and dark, and it felt like something eerie could pop out from around any corner. So it didn't surprise me when another Desert Mummy emerged right in front of me, ready to battle.
You have slain my undead brethren, but you won't slay me, Zozo. I will annihilate you in the name of my master, Lord Anubis.
I still don't understand why you're so desperate to destroy me. Doesn't your Lord Anubis have bigger fish to fry? He is a literal god after all.
Your presence offends him. We need no more reason than that to send you to the underworld, cold and lifeless.
Not if I send you first. I battled the Desert Mummy. Just like the mystery sheep said, the mummy had underestimated me, just like his boss. And in the end, I defeated him. Wait, did he drop some kind of note? I looked around and found a note that had been dropped by the destroyed mummy. It came straight from Anubis, and it said, "You bandaged buffoons have failed me for too long. You must destroy this Zozo before he gets stronger. If he reaches full power, his poison will be able to harm me. We cannot allow that. Destroy him now." So that's why he wants to destroy me so bad. I understand it now. From day 20 to day 22, I returned to my favorite mining cave to collect some more iron ore for crafting purposes. All this iron will perfectly match my iron will. I took the ore back to my base and used my furnace to smelt it into some ingots. Soon after, I had myself a tough new iron chest plate. Now I can really take a mean punch. It's time to settle an old score and go squash that evil Spider Queen. Afterwards, I returned to the Badlands, where I'd first met the Guardian of the Forest and promised to him that I'd defeat the Spider Queen that'd been plaguing the area. A poison lizard always pays his debts. I arrived at the Spider Queen's location, and this time, I was truly ready. With my weapons and powers, I attacked and destroyed the Spider Queen once and for all, freeing the Badlands from her terror for good. But my terror was just beginning. After defeating the Spider Queen, I heard something coming quickly towards me. I turned around, and it was Anubis himself.
Zozo, you monster! You destroyed my pet spider! You are truly my arch enemy!
What? I didn't know she was your pet spider. I just knew she was terrorizing creatures of the Badlands.
Yes, because I told her to. I have even more reasons to destroy you now.
I know the actual truth, Anubis. I know that if I get to my full power, my poison will be able to destroy you.
Oh yes, but you'll never get strong enough to be a threat to me. I'll destroy you first.
Anubis blasted me with fireballs, and I ran away as fast as I could. From day 23 to day 26, I managed to get back to my base in the forest with barely a scratch. Anubis had given up chasing me, but only for the time being. Even if he wasn't on my tail now, he was still out there and knew that I could put a stop to his evil plans if I just got stronger. And luckily for me, that was already happening. I met with the Guardian of the Forest again.
You've done well to slay the Spider Queen, Zozo.
Thanks. I didn't realize she was the pet of Anubis. But hey, without his creepy crawly, he's more vulnerable, right?
We can only hope, Zozo.
I was on a roll, and I couldn't stop now. I headed back to the mines to search for more materials and came across some more iron ore buried underground. I already have an iron sword, pickaxe, and chestplate. What else could come in handy? Oh, a helmet! That would be perfect, having some added armor to protect me. So I turned the iron ore into ingots and crafted myself a brand new helmet. That's when the ghost miner materialized again.
Zozo, come and see.
What is it? I followed my spirit guide. He'd been working on improving my base while I'd been off on my adventures. We'd now had a whole security bunker safe near the main base, a place where we could be secure just in case Anubis's forces ever tried to overrun our base. The bunker was nice and fortified, so they would have had no chance of ever getting in, and we could be nice and protected inside. From day 27 to day 31, I made the decision to venture back towards the Weeping Witch Forest. Even though I'd gotten rid of that nasty desert mummy the last time I was there, the whole place still gave me the creeps. Suddenly, I heard a faint voice, so I looked around to figure out where their voice was coming from. As I turned around, I was startled to see a gigantic axolotl right behind me. Whoa, don't sneak up on me like that.
Oh no, sorry about that, man. People usually spot me coming on the count of me being a big, bright pink axolotl. Didn't mean to startle you.
That's okay. Just tell me you're not working for that big jackal jerk Anubis.
Oh, no, man. In fact, I just wanted to come and say thanks for taking care of that desert mummy of his. Us amphibians and reptiles have got to stick together, right? That mummy destroyed my home, so I'm glad to be rid of him.
Why don't you come back to my base with me?
Aw, thanks, man.
Well, me and Big Axolotl were heading home. He had tons of suggestions about how I could make my base more homey with some new couches and bookshelves. Once we got home, I started to add his suggestions to the base, adding some couches and some bookshelves to liven up the place.
I actually have a real passion for interior design.
After I left Big Axolotl to relax, the ghost miner reappeared.
Zozo, I have another task for you, my son.
What is it? More trouble?
Indeed, I sense there are more of Anubis's forces nearby. We must act swiftly.
From day 32 to day 35, my spirit guide and I both left the safety of my base and headed back to where I had met the mystery sheep. According to the ghostly miner, the poor sheep was under siege from more of Anubis's dastardly desert mummies. The mystery sheep had given me some helpful advice before and offered me guidance when I wasn't sure what my destiny was, so the least I could do to repay him was help him out in his time of need.
Help! Someone please help!
We arrived at the mystery sheep's dwelling, only to see it was swarming with desert mummies. I had only ever beaten a couple of them before, and only in one-on-one fights. But I had been getting stronger, and my confidence was already increasing, so I leapt into battle! I swiped my iron sword at the mummies, launching a few poison attacks, while making sure the ones up close got a taste of the full fury of my improved combat skills. I took out one and another, but while I was busy fighting my way through them, some of the desert mummies went after the mystery sheep.
Zozo, things look bad. It may be too late for me. Remember your destiny. I know you won't let us down.
I wasn't able to save the mystery sheep. Even by the time I had defeated the other desert mummies, there was no one feeling more defeated than me. From day 36 to day 39, I left to clear my head. The ghost miner offered to come with me so he could comfort me in the wake of losing the mystery sheep, but I told him I'd rather be on my own for a while. I decided I'd head back to the Badlands, feel some more warm sunlight on my scaly lizard skin, in the hopes that might cheer me up. I was contemplating what had gone wrong. I was stronger, but not strong enough to save my friend. Suddenly, while I was thinking to myself, a phantom fox appeared. Greetings, Zozo. I am Phantom Fox, a spirit of swiftness. I know you are grieving the loss of the mystery sheep, but I have a task you must complete. Okay, I know the mystery sheep wanted me to make everyone proud, so I guess me carrying on getting stronger is what he would have wanted. The Phantom Fox led me toward another of Anubis's minions, an Endergast from the Jackal God's underworld. I ran towards it, prepared to fight, and readied my poison attacks. But I quickly found out that my poison had no effect on the Endergast. So my sword had to do, and with a few strong swings, I was able to defeat the ghastly minion. Well done, Zozo. I know that the mystery sheep would be proud. He and all the other spirits are counting on you to defeat the one who turned on us. You mean Anubis was once one of you? Indeed, but he betrayed us and took control of the underworld, becoming its god. Now, he'll stop at nothing to expand his power up here and control everything that is, that was, and that will be. From day 40 to day 43, I made my way back to my base in the Zelkova forest. I was still feeling sad about the loss of the mystery sheep, but a little better after chatting with the Phantom Fox. But any of my sadness quickly disappeared when I saw what awaited me. My friend, the guardian of the forest, had been working on improving my base to cheer me up. The place had been adorned with plenty of pretty banners draped over the walls to decorate the place. Wow, this place looks great! What made you want to go to all this trouble?
Well, Zozo, I knew you needed your spirits lifted after losing an ally, and by improving the look of our base, I hoped it might bring new allies to us so that we can honor the mystery sheep and stand up to Anubis once and for all.
Decorating the base clearly worked, because a little while later, a spider llama arrived looking for a place to stay, so I gladly let them join us. When the day was almost done, I was finally approached by the big axolotl.
Hey man, listen, I've got a favor to ask. I left some of my special netherite ingots back in the Weeping Witch Forest after my old home was destroyed. Think you could help me get them back?
From day 44 to day 49, I headed back to the Weeping Witch Forest to recover the netherite ingots that Big Axolotl had sent me to look for. He still seemed a little uneasy about heading back to where he'd used to live, just in case there were more of Anubis's desert mummies creeping around the place. So I agreed to take on the task. After all, Big Axolotl was a cool guy, and he'd made some really nice improvements to my base, so I thought I'd return the favor to my friend. But I hadn't made it far before Anubis came bursting out behind the trees to ambush me. I knew there was something creepy about this place.
There you are, pesky little poison lizard. You've been trying to get yourself stronger, and I can't have that.
Scared of my poison then?
On the contrary, I have more important things to do than waste my time on a little pest like you. For once I control both the overworld and the underworld, I'll be able to have full control over who lives and dies.
You can't do that. That'd make you a monster.
Oh, you want a monster? I'll show you a monster.
Anubis vanished, but left a powerful warped phantom in his place. I was about to have one heck of a tough fight on my hands against this monster. From day 50 to day 53, I defended myself against the Warped Phantom's attacks. Since it was a creature straight from Anubis's underworld, it could blast bolts of powerful undead spirit energy at me. I tried my best to fend it off, retreating deeper into the Weeping Witch Forest to try and regain my health and come up with a better plan of attack. But the Warped Phantom wasn't giving up the pursuit.
You can run all you like, little lizard. My master, Lord Anubis, has told me not to return until you are destroyed.
I used the cover of the trees to stay out of the Phantom's line of sight, sneaking around so that I could outflank it and take it by surprise. My plan worked, and I caught the Warped Phantom off guard and was barely just able to defeat it. But when I did, I noticed it had dropped something. It was a map with directions that led right to Anubis's pyramid. It wasn't a desert biome though, it was all the way over in the snowy taiga. Of course, Anubis might be the god of the underworld, but all his minions and mummies up here in the overworld are undead, so he must have needed to keep them cold. Now I knew where I could find that jackal-headed jerk when the time came to take him on. From day 54 to day 57, I did my best to find my bearings and get back on task to find the netherite ingots my friend Big Axolotl had stashed. But when I got to Big Axolotl's stash, there was a new problem blocking my path: a swarm of fire guardians. These things looked like they would be a tough fight, so I decided to use the same tactic that had helped me beat the Warped Phantom. I snuck up on them, and before they spotted me coming, I leapt into battle. I used my poisonous attacks, and they worked. The poison slowed the fire guardians down and allowed me to have the upper hand. One by one, I extinguished their flames, and after I defeated them, I looted the netherite ingots from the stash and headed back to the base to return them to my friend, and he was thrilled.
Oh, thanks so much, man. You hang on to them. I didn't really need them, but I thought they'd come in handy for you.
So that's why you sent me to get them.
Yeah, I told you before. We amphibians and reptiles have to look out for each other.
From day 58 to day 62, now that I was back at the safety of the base, I decided it would be best to stick around and work on improving things. After all, if the banners the Forest Guardian had put up were going to bring in more allies, then we'd need to be able to feed everyone. I used some wood to craft fences and expanded the chicken farm at the base, so that we had plenty of room for the chickens to lay loads of eggs for everyone. Who doesn't love eggs for breakfast? It was after I'd worked on expanding the chicken farm that I noticed the state of my iron armor. It had seen a lot of action, and all the bumps and batterings of battle had whittled away at its condition. This wasn't going to keep me protected for much longer, so I headed off back to the mine to search for something stronger. And sure enough, digging deeper, I found some diamonds. Bringing them back to the base, I turned them into a fresh new set of diamond armor and a sword and pickaxe to match. Now I had way more defense against Anubis's undead cronies, my sword could do much more damage against them too, and my new pickaxe would make gathering resources all the easier.
Zozo, behold our latest addition!
My spirit guide, the ghostly miner, showed me around the base's brand new party room. We could gather all our allies here, either to have a good time as friends, or coordinate who would be heading out on adventures, who would be gathering resources, and upgrading the base. Wow, this place is looking great! You must have been listening to Big Axolotl's interior decorating tips. From day 63 to day 66, the Guardian of the Forest had some suggestions for where I should head next.
You still have a ways to go, but time is on our side. While Anubis is regaining his forces and planning his next move, yours should be getting stronger. Head to the desert, Zozo. It can be a harsh place, but the heat there should invigorate a cold-blooded lizard such as yourself. And perhaps you will encounter some new challenges to improve your skills and grow your strength.
And so, I headed off in the direction of the desert. There didn't seem to be much there, mostly just lots of sand. It was coarse and rough, and it got everywhere, but at least here, there was plenty of sunlight to warm me up. All of a sudden, I was startled by an abrupt growling coming from nearby. I drew my diamond sword, trusting it could fight off whatever was coming. I was greeted with the sight of a wolfman, and expected him to be one of Anubis's allies.
Relax, friend. I mean you no harm.
Oh, that was surprising. It turned out the wolfman was friendly.
Actually, I've been looking for someone to help me with something, and you seem like just the lizard for the job. What do you say? You up for it?
Sure thing. I came here to get stronger, so let's get to it. From day 67 to day 70, the wolfman led me to an open plain in the middle of the desert.
You see, there's these pesky soul blazes. They attacked me and took all my armor and weapons. I have claw attacks like you, but there are too many of them for me to fight alone, especially without protection from armor. So what I need you to do is draw their attention while I grab my stuff. Then I can help you take the rest of them out.
So, when we spotted the soul blazes, I rushed straight at them. They all turned and charged towards me as I swung my diamond sword and started dishing out much more damage than ever before. Meanwhile, as I battled the soul blazes, my new wolfman friend used his wolf speed to get closer to his gear that laid on the ground. He hurriedly got it all on while I chopped at the soul blazes, and with our combined might, we reduced them to dust.
Awesome! What a great fight! You can really hold your own.
I'm glad I could help. From day 71 to day 74, I was in the snowy taiga biome, feeling much tougher than I had when I started. All the hype that the wolfman had given me made me think I was about ready to take on Anubis himself. I used the map to make my way toward Anubis's pyramid. It was way more accurate than some of the old wooden signs I passed. One of them said, "If you like this video, then you can find more by clicking on our channel or searching ZOZO." Once I'd made it closer, I started to feel strange. Like I was maybe a little tired. But that all went to the back of my mind the moment I saw Anubis's pyramid, towering over the rest of the frosty landscape. And I didn't have to get much closer for the underworld god to rear his ugly jackal head.
So you've come to give yourself up already, filthy poison lizard?
Nope. I'm a lot stronger now, Anubis. I came to give you a nice big dose of poison and stop all your crazy schemes.
You will try, I'm sure.
We clashed head on, and I took some swings with my diamond sword. But it felt heavier all of a sudden, and so did my armor. Like I was somehow weaker. Of course, it was the cold weather. This place wasn't just perfect for keeping Anubis's undead minions on ice, but the environment of the snowy taiga also made it harder for me to fight him. He dealt me some pretty bad damage, so I had no choice but to retreat for now. From day 75 to day 78, I made the long trek back to my base in the Zelkova forest. The whole time I felt glum. I had been so eager to take on Anubis, but in doing so, I had overlooked one of his major advantages over me. It didn't seem to matter how much stronger I got now, I would still be a poison lizard. And that was why Anubis had set up his pyramid in the snowy taiga. The longer I was in that place, the more dangerous it became for me, thanks to my cold reptilian blood. I didn't even feel like talking to anyone once I was back in the base. Instead, I just went to my room to be on my own for a while. Until, of course, the ghost miner materialized.
Zozo, don't be disheartened. There will be another opportunity to stop Anubis. For now, come and see. We've all been working hard to make some new improvements to protect this place.
I didn't really feel like it, but I let the ghost miner show me around. The base now had a tall watchtower reaching high up above the forest's tree line, so we could keep a lookout for any approaching danger. Even though I was feeling down, I had to admit it was pretty neat. Then, the big axolotl came to speak to me alone.
Hey man, don't worry. Nobody stays down in the dumps for too long. I got you this. Thought it might help. Consider it a thank you for all you've done for me.
Big Axolotl had given me a magic apple. It really did lift my spirits some more. I was lucky to have him as a friend, and even luckier when I ate the magic apple. I felt the magic from the apple transform me into a larger poison lizard, giving me 60 hearts and even a new power, a jump boost, so I could leap even higher on my reptilian legs. From day 79 to day 84, I was ready to pick myself up and try to take on Anubis again. My extra hearts would have made it easier to survive the snowy taiga, and now I had my jump boost. I could get up in the air, right into his smug jackal face, and his attacks would miss me. When I made it back, there was no sign of him though, but a pack of thorn wolves tried to take some bites at me, so I showed off some of my newfound strength. They were no match for me.
My, very impressive.
I turned around to see a huge creeper spider. I kept my guard up, but then realized that if they were going to harm me, they could have used the element of surprise when I was fighting the wolves. Instead, the creeper spider offered to show me around the snowy taiga, teaching me a few tricks for staying warm while I was traversing this frosty part of the overworld. But best of all, they showed me how I could use some of Big Axolotl's netherite ingots. By combining them with my diamond sword, I had now made an even more powerful weapon, a netherite sword. From day 85 to day 89, I was heading back to my base to tell my friends the good news, but I was shocked by what awaited me. There was a horde of desert mummies attacking the base. With no time to waste, I rushed into battle to defend my home and my friends from the bandaged baddies. Luckily, my blade of netherite cleaved through most of them with one swing. Seeing I'd taken their numbers down, the remaining desert mummies ran off into the forest. I couldn't let them get away. If they made it back to the snowy taiga, they could tell Anubis exactly where to find my base, and he'd send even more powerful mobs to harm my friends. I rushed after them into the forest. They were a ways ahead of me, and before long, my base had disappeared from view behind all the trees, and so had the desert mummies. Darn it, I had to figure out a way to stop them. While searching the forest, I came across a villager. Hey, have you seen any of Anubis's mummies go this way?
Oh, I have. Please get rid of those horrid undead things.
They pointed me in a direction, but the mummies who'd been causing the villager trouble were a different group. Still, they were Anubis's minions, so I thought it'd be better to take them out nice and quick. My netherite sword made light work of them, and then I kept up the trail of the others, hoping I could reach them in time. From day 90 to day 94, I had been following the desert mummies for quite some time, all the way to the snowy taiga. Oh no, it was too late. They'd be able to report back to Anubis about where my base was. I made sure not to get too close as they approached the Jackal God's pyramid, where they were greeted by a huge beast, a vile ogre.
Good job tracking that poisonous lizard. I will head to that base and destroy what's left on behalf of Lord Anubis. Go and report your findings to him.
Not so fast. I leaped out of cover and stood in the way of the vile ogre.
Ah, there you are. Lord Anubis will be pleased when I tell him you've been destroyed. Do you even know who you're messing with, reptile? I'm Vile Ogre, Anubis's #1 henchman.
Tougher than my poison and netherite sword? From day 95 to day 97, my fight against the Vile Ogre started. He was bigger and stronger than me, but I had to remind myself that so was I. I'd come a long way since my humble beginnings, but even more importantly, I wasn't fighting just for myself this time. I was fighting to defend my friends who had all worked tirelessly to improve my base, who had helped me persevere when I thought Anubis might beat me, and who had been there for me at my darkest moments. They all deserved protecting, so every swing of my netherite sword or blast of my poison attacks was for them. Luckily for me, the Vile Ogre didn't realize just how familiar I was with the snowy taiga, thanks to the lessons I'd had from the creeper spider. I was able to use the landscape to my advantage, finding some higher ground that I could leap off of with my jump boost. It sent me high into the air and allowed me to get the jump on him, so to speak. I was able to give him one last strike with my netherite sword and a blast of poison to weaken him.
You bested me. How? How is that possible? Lord Anubis promised I'd be heralded in his new world.
He lied. You and I both know he's not the type to keep his word. He betrayed all the other spirits when he took control of the underworld. My poison will whittle away your remaining health in the next few minutes. Maybe think about using that time wisely.
Fine. Anubis resides in a chamber in the heart of his pyramid, surrounded by his undead armies.
You'll never make it to him. You're just one lizard, all alone.
Who said I'd be alone? With the vile ogre defeated, I knew my time to take on Anubis for the final time would soon be at hand. But I was more determined than ever to beat him. I just needed a little help from my friends. On day 98, I made my way back to my base to see that my allies had already made repairs after the desert mummies had attacked. Since I didn't have to worry about repairs, I went to take a quick rest before the big battle. And just like that, the ghost miner appeared to give words of wisdom afterwards.
You've come quite a long way, Zozo. I am very proud, and the mystery sheep would be too.
Thanks. I couldn't have made it this far without such a great spirit guide. I won't let you down. I'll get to Anubis and put a stop to his plans once and for all. The guardian of the forest also had some wisdom to impart to me before I set off on the last part of my journey.
Remember, Zozo, that wherever you are, your true friend will always be with you. Even if we aren't by your side, we can still take us everywhere we go. We all live in the hearts of those that matter to us, and we care about you just as you care about all of those you've helped.
I'll remember. Thanks for everything. And last, but by no means least, my friend, Big Axolotl, seemed to get a bit emotional just as I was about to leave.
Just look after yourself, Zozo, man. You're gonna do great. Just make sure you come back in one piece. Oh man, I promised myself I wouldn't cry.
On day 99, I made my final return to the snowy taiga, prepared for a final showdown with Anubis. The forest guardian was right. I had all my friends with me, and I was fighting to keep them safe. Not just them, but everyone in the overworld. If Anubis got his way, he'd be in control of life and death, and I couldn't let that happen. Even to strangers, because they say a stranger is just a friend you haven't met yet. There was a huge horde of desert mummies waiting for me as I arrived at the pyramid. The cold was making them a little tougher than usual, but hopefully it wouldn't take more than a few strikes of my netherite sword to get through them. Suddenly, before I could get down to the fight, I was stopped by the Wolfman.
Come on, Zozo. Did you really think I'd leave this fight all to you? Can't let you have all the fun. Hey, nice new sword. That looks awesome.
Thanks, it's still pretty new.
You go on ahead, Zozo, my friend. I'll take these dusty old clowns. Go give that jackal jerk what for.
The Wolfman rushed in and led the desert mummies away as I ran in to confront Anubis. On day 100, I finally came face to face with Anubis at the center of his pyramid.
You accursed reptile! You really think you can put a stop to my plans? I am Anubis, god of the underworld, and soon the ruler of the overworld too. You are nothing, just a little lizard with no hope of defeating me.
You talk a big game, but you've been scared of me from the start. You tried to stop me from getting stronger at every turn. That tells me that my poison really can stop you.
Not if I destroy you first.
The final battle was at hand. Anubis came in quick with fast, powerful attacks, so I had to take up my sword to defend against him. He was ferocious. Part of me wondered if I could really beat him. My netherite sword was just enough to deflect his blows, but I couldn't get a good swipe in on him. He was just too quick. But I knew I had to stop Anubis once and for all. I leaped high into the air with my jump boost and launched the strongest poison attack I'd ever made. It blasted Anubis right in the face, and the poison started to immediately take effect. It chipped away at his health more and more, enough for me to jump back towards him and land a final blow with my netherite sword. I've done it! I survived 100 days and defeated Anubis once and for all! The overworld was saved from this jackal-headed jerk. I had fulfilled my destiny, and most importantly, protected all of my friends too. On day 1, I spawned into the alien fields as a Charmander. Oh wow, I'm a fire-type Pokemon. This is awesome. I wonder if I can collect enough XP to evolve into a Charizard. But before I knew it, something wet hit me in the face. It was some kind of water blast, so strong that it felt like it was shot out of a cannon. This could only mean one thing. I turned around and saw a big, powerful Blastoise laughing at me from a treetop.
I knew I'd find a fire type around here somewhere. You'll make perfect target practice.
Wait, so you're the one who hit me with that water blast? Why? I don't even know you.
You don't need to know me, and I don't need to know you. You're a fire type, and I'm a water type. We're opposites, and that's why we should be natural enemies.
That doesn't make any sense. Why can't we be friends just because we're different types?
No, I think being enemies is way more fun. Now run away before I drown you in water blasts.
And then he started blasting at me, so all I could do was turn and run away as fast as I could before his water blast could do too much damage to me. That guy has some really scary beliefs. There's gotta be some way I can stop his ideas from spreading before everyone hates each other. On day 2, I traveled away from my spawn point through the alien fields in search of experience points. With only 10 hearts, I wouldn't be winning any Pokemon championships. I'm also one hungry Charmander. Better find some food. I did some scrounging around the trees and managed to get some apples to refill my hunger bar. I do like them apples. Shortly after my meal, I was approached by a group of Squirtles, water-type turtle Pokemon that evolve into Blastoise.
Hey, fire type! You aren't welcome around these parts. If you don't get lost, we'll spread you with water.
Oh no, all of you must be listening to the hateful words of that narrow-minded old Blastoise.
Don't diss Blastoise! We're the Squirtle Squad, and we make sure everyone knows that water types are the best.
Why are you being so mean? All I was doing was eating apples.
Doesn't matter what you were doing. You're not the same type as us, so you're our enemy. Get 'em, boys!
The Squirtles attacked all together, and I started losing hearts. I couldn't even fight back because they outnumbered me. Just then, I heard a voice from nearby.
Hey, Squirtle Squad, leave him alone.
It was a Bulbasaur, a grass-type Pokemon known for having a sprouted plant on its back.
No, a grass type! We're afraid of those because they're strong against us!
The Squirtles ran away, leaving me hurt but alive, with half a heart remaining. I turned to the Bulbasaur and expressed my gratitude. Thank you for saving me. Those guys were going to tear me apart just for being a fire type.
You don't have to worry about that from me, new Charmander friend. Follow me. There's someone you should meet.
On day 3, Bulbasaur led me to a campfire where another fire type, a Flareon, was waiting. Boy, am I happy to see another fire type. No offense, Bulbasaur.
You've been through a lot, so I forgive you. How about you go talk to Flareon?
I listened to Bulbasaur and approached the campfire. Flareon greeted me with a nod, and I told him everything about what had happened to me because of Blastoise and his Squirtle Squad.
That Blastoise is fully evolved. He should know better than to pick on Pokemon of different types, especially Pokemon of the fire type, because of how few of us there are compared to water types.
Trust me, I felt that part firsthand. Those Squirtles totally outnumbered me. How am I supposed to get a moment's peace?
It can be difficult, young Charmander Zozo. I've struggled a lot in my life because of how some other Pokemon have treated me, but I also have many friends who are different types than me, like Bulbasaur, who you've met. The more we get along, despite being different types, the less the beliefs of Pokemon like Blastoise can affect us.
So, you're saying I should go out into the world and make friends with lots of different types of Pokemon?
Precisely. And if you see another Pokemon being bullied because of what type they are, you should stand up for them. Pokemon of different types make a more balanced team after all.
Wow, thanks Flareon. I think I know how to make life a little bit easier for all types of Pokemon. I'm gonna get out there and stop the hate. I left the campfire and returned to Bulbasaur, telling him about my new quest to stop the spread of Blastoise's terrible ideas. So that's why I'm going to find different types of Pokemon and get to know them.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Can I come with you, Zozo?
Sure, Bulbasaur. Let's be friends and work together. From day 4 to day 5, I knocked down a tree for wood and crafted a wooden pickaxe which I used to gather stone. I think I'll make a whole set of stone tools. I cast aside my wooden pickaxe in favor of a stone pickaxe. I also crafted a stone sword to help protect myself from the next time I'm in a fight.
Hey, Zozo! We should build a base around here. That way we'll have a place for all our new friends to hang out in.
Great idea, Bulbasaur! It'll be a Pokemon home that welcomes all types. I laid the foundation for the base in stone and built 2 different rooms designed for Bulbasaur and myself. For Bulbasaur's room, I added lots of plants and green textures that were fitting for a grass type. My room had a fire pit and a bunch of coal to keep it warm. A fire-type Pokemon needs to have fire after all. While our rooms were really different from each other, they were still close enough that we could visit each other. How do you like the room, Bulbasaur?
It's very nice, Zozo. I'm glad you made it specially for me. It shows you're really accepting of different types of Pokemon.
Awesome! I want everyone to feel welcome when they come to live here. I went outside to search for more materials. I was digging another hole when out popped a Sandslash, a fully evolved ground-type Pokemon. Before I could offer a friendly greeting, the Sandslash attacked me. It must have thought I was easy pickings because fire types are weak against ground types. Why can't we get along? I fought back using my sword and drove the Sandslash back underground. Before I knew it, I had won the fight and the experience points from the, experience. And it caused me to evolve into a Charmeleon. I learned how to use Fire Breath, and my number of hearts increased to 30. From day 6 to day 8, I traveled to the Black Forest in search of new Pokemon friends. Woods that are this deep and dark have to be hiding some truly mysterious Pokemon. And now that I'm a Charmeleon, I'm sure I can protect myself if I need to. It turned out that the one I needed to protect was another Fire-type Pokemon known as a Vulpix.
Stop it, Beedrill! Leave me be!
I ran to where I heard the Vulpix's cries and saw that she was fending off a Beedrill, a poison bug Pokemon with powerful stingers. Buzz off, Beedrill! I dove into the fray and hit the Beedrill with my stone sword, which gave the Vulpix a chance to get to a safe distance. Beedrill tried hitting me with its needle stingers, but I dodged and hit it a few more times with my sword. Just as the Beedrill started to use its poisonous ranged attacks, I attacked with my Fire Breath, dealing super effective levels of damage. The Beedrill fainted, so I went to go check on Vulpix. Are you okay, Vulpix?
I've had better days. I'm really lucky that a Charmeleon like you came along.
Call me Zozo. I'm on a quest for all kinds of Pokemon friends.
Hi, Zozo. Would you be able to help me one more time? I was poisoned by that Beedrill, and I need some help getting Pecha Berries to work like antidotes.
Count on me. Flareon told me that us fire types have to stick together too. From day 9 to day 10, I walked through the Black Forest with Vulpix until we reached a berry bush that was covered in Pecha Berries. I grabbed one of the berries off the shrub and fed it to Vulpix. How do you feel?
I feel great, which means the poison status effect is cured. Thanks, Zozo.
Sweet! We should stock up on some of these berries for the base, just in case anyone else is poisoned. I went back to the Pecha Berry bush to gather more, but I was stopped when the ground shook. A Dugtrio burst up from the ground and stared me down with its 3 heads.
And no stomping around above my home. I'll have you earthquaking in your boots, Charmeleon.
I didn't mean to disturb you, Mr. Dugtrio. I'll just take the berries and be on my way.
You'll take nothing but a beatdown, you fire-type brat.
Dugtrio hit me with its powerful ground-type digging moves. I used my Fire Breath, but it barely did any damage. The ground Pokemon was also way too fast to hit with my sword. The only thing I could do was run away, back to Vulpix. I didn't get the berries.
That's all right. You saved me at least. You're a real friend, Zozo.
Thanks, Vulpix. I'm heading back to my base now, and you're welcome to tag along. From day 11 to day 12, I constructed another room fit for a fire type so that Vulpix could live comfortably inside the base. It was nice to know that there was one more fire type friend who would be safe from the Squirtle Squad and Blastoise. Once I was finished with the room, I went to see Vulpix, who had been doing some building of her own.
Hey, Zozo. I made us a storage room to store all of our food and other supplies.
I looked around at the base and saw that Vulpix had done exactly what she said. The base was looking more like a home than ever before. That's really nice, Vulpix. Did you do this because you already like living here?
You got it. I wanted to thank you for all you've done for me. I really look forward to seeing this place full of new Pokemon friends.
It will be, Vulpix, and you're one of us now.
Thank you. Truth is, I've needed a place to belong. For a while, I've been struggling because other types of Pokemon have picked on me. Especially because I was a fire Pokemon. Especially Blastoise and his Squirtle Squad.
Don't worry, Vulpix. I'll make sure to create a world where nobody is picked on because of their types. After the base was renovated, I went down into the mines to get some stronger materials. I dug for iron ore and found enough to make some iron ingots. With that, I upgraded my stone sword and stone pickaxe to an iron sword and an iron pickaxe. Back on the surface, I discovered some sheep in the alien fields and went to work creating a pen to keep them in. Kinda weird that these are regular old non-Pokemon sheep, but oh well, I have sheep. From day 13 to day 15, I went to talk to my first Pokemon friend, Bulbasaur, about how I could evolve even further. Right now I'm a Charmeleon, but if I can become a Charizard, I'll be able to face that Blastoise on the same level.
It's not that easy, Zozo. That Blastoise still has lots of experience, and his type is strong against yours.
I still have to try. That big brute nearly waterlogged me when we first met, and now that I know he bullied Vulpix too, I'm all fired up.
Maybe you should try facing off against the Squirtle Squad to gain experience fighting against water types.
That's a great idea, Bulbasaur. Away I go. I returned to the Black Forest where I met Vulpix and called out for Squirtles to test my strength against. Come on out. You weren't so afraid of me when I was a Charmander.
And we're not afraid now. Get set to get splashed, Fireboy.
A lone Squirtle appeared, ready to take me on. I was game, so I drew my iron sword and fought against the turtle-like Pokemon. Now armed and evolved, I was having a much easier time holding my own, even though I was still taking a bit of damage.
Give up, Charmeleon. A fire type can't beat a water type.
Stop thinking about other Pokemon just in terms of types. I used my fire breath to deal a bit of damage and distract the Squirtle, before I swung the iron sword and finished him off like it was a metal claw attack. He dropped some experience, which I utilized to fully form into my most iconic form, the fire-flying Pokemon, Charizard! Yeah, Charizard! I had 60 hearts and a brand new fireball attack that could be launched even farther than my fire breath and dealt way more damage. From day 16 to day 19, I took my newly evolved Charizard self on a trip to the Crag Gardens biome. I was feeling strong, getting used to being an evolved Pokemon. I couldn't wait to use my new Charizard powers to defend all types of Pokemon from those who would hate and divide them. While I was wandering around, I found a book of information. It's like an old-fashioned Pokedex. The inside of the book had a Pokemon article about Charizard and Blastoise. This would probably be worth the read. While both are considered to be powerful and fully evolved Pokemon, Charizard and Blastoise have a number of differences between each other. As a water type, Blastoise is known to be strong in a battle with the fire type Charizard. But even so, Charizard has always been the more popular Pokemon, beloved by trainers and other Pokemon everywhere. This has made Blastoise extremely jealous and obsessed with proving his superiority. I see. So Blastoise started this grudge against other types of Pokemon because he felt weak on the inside. I'd almost feel bad for him if he wasn't causing so much hate. I put the book down and found that I was surrounded by a bunch of Squirtles from the Squirtle Squad.
We had you took out one of our Squirtles and evolved, so we're here to get even.
Blastoise is making you do this, isn't he? I guess I'll have to teach you a lesson through battle. I used my Fire Breath attack to hit the Squirtles all at once. Then I used my Iron Sword to deal strong damage to each of them. This battle went very differently than the one when I was a Charmander. Even though I was still outnumbered, I managed to defeat all the Squirtles and make them faint. Oh yeah, I'm strong enough to protect myself now. From day 20 to day 22, I gathered more iron from the mines so I could craft my first piece of iron armor, and decided to take the iron ingots I made from the iron ore and create an iron chestplate. Now I could have defenses where it counts. Now, for the true test of my fully evolved power, I'm gonna go see if I can defeat that mean Dugtrio in the Black Forest. I went to the same bush where the Pecha berries were and waited for that wild Dugtrio to appear, and soon he did.
Hey, aren't you that Charmeleon? Looks like you've evolved, but you're still no match for me.
We'll see about that. Charizard, attack! I opened the battle with my brand new Fireball. It didn't deal too much because Dugtrio was a ground type, but it got his attention. His melee attacks and speed were still a force to be reckoned with. But with my newly improved defenses, I was able to tank several hits and deal damage back with my sword. Before long, Dugtrio was begging for mercy.
Please, Charizard, no more. I didn't know a fire type could be this strong.
You're about to see how strong I really am. I spare you, Dugtrio.
Really? You're not gonna knock me out?
Of course not. All I wanted to do was show you I could protect myself. We could even be friends now.
Well, you're all right, Zozo the Charizard. Have the berries if you want.
Dugtrio disappeared back underground. I was about to celebrate my victory and the fact that I resolved the battle peacefully when Blastoise appeared. Blastoise!
Looks like the little Charmander has grown up into a Charizard. I knew I should have gotten rid of you when you were small. Now we're destined to be rivals.
You can stop this now if you want to, Blastoise. Water types and fire types don't need to be enemies.
You think you're better than me, don't you? Well, you're not. Charizard might be a lot of people's favorite Pokemon, but there are more water types than any other type of Pokemon. Your fire type should leave us alone and stop stealing our spotlight.
Then Blastoise stomped away, furiously. We didn't end up fighting this time, but unless he let go of his hatred towards fire types, someday we would have to. From day 23 to day 26, I returned to base with several bushels of Pecha berries, which I planted outside the base so that any Pokemon living here could cure poison status effects. Vulpix was very happy since it was her who had trouble getting the berries when she was poisoned.
Now that you're a Charizard, it seems like there's a chance for things to get better for fire types.
It'll take a lot more than me to make the world a place where all Pokemon can live in harmony, but I'll keep on doing my best. And part of doing my best was adding to my suit of iron armor. So I went back to the caverns and mined until I had enough iron material to craft myself an iron helmet and iron boots. With all this iron I'm wearing, I'm practically a steel type. When I was done crafting, I went outside to see that there was a great big wall built around the entire base. Vulpix was standing nearby, looking proud. Did you do this, Vulpix?
Yes, I did. What you said about doing your best struck a chord with me. I wanted to do my best too.
You did awesome, Vulpix. I'm so glad you're living here with us. From day 27 to day 31, I was exploring the Crag Gardens when I met a type of Pokemon I had never seen before. Lapras, the Ice-type transportation Pokemon known for swimming along the waterways. Actually, Lapras had 2 types. It was a water type too.
Hello, are you that same Charizard that fought with the Squirtle Squad?
Yep, that's me. Please don't tell me you want to get revenge for your fellow water types.
Not at all. I'm glad that someone is teaching them not to mess with other types of Pokemon. That kind of thing gives us water types a bad name.
Well, that's a relief. Good to know there are water types out there who don't listen to Blastoise.
Blastoise doesn't even consider me a true water type because I'm part ice type. I get bothered by those Squirtles too.
So sorry. Come to my base. It's welcome to all types of Pokemon. I returned to the base with Lapras and let them settle in. I decided I should make the base more inviting to outsiders, so I harvested some wool for my sheep and placed down some decorative banners. As soon as I was done, Bulbasaur ran up to me, looking panicked.
Zozo, quick! It's the Squirtle Squad! They're attacking other types of Pokemon again!
From day 32 to day 35, I ventured out into the alien fields to find the Squirtle Squad and stop them from causing trouble. I recognized the area as near the campfire where we had met Flareon many days prior. Oh no, Flareon, he's probably in trouble.
And so are you!
A bunch of Squirtles jumped out to attack me, but I managed to fend them off with my iron sword. Afterwards, I saw Flareon getting hit with attacks from other members of the Squirtle Squad.
This'll show you, Flareon! Squirtle Squad for life!
The Squirtles attacked again and destroyed Flareon right before my eyes! Flareon, no! I blasted the Squirtle Squad with fireballs and cut the rest of them down with my sword. If I see any more of you Squirtles on the Squirtle Squad again, I'm fighting you right then and there. From day 36 to day 39, I was in the Black Forest when I met a Caterpie, a friendly bug-type Pokemon who was crawling along through the tall grass.
You startled me. I saw your wings and thought you were the flying-type Pokemon who had been attacking me.
Charizard is a flying type as well as a fire type, but this one doesn't mean you any harm. Honest.
That's good. It seems like Pokemon like me always have to worry about Pokemon of stronger types. Do you understand how that feels?
I do understand, Caterpie. Take me to this flying-type bully of yours so I can settle the score. Caterpie showed me to a clearing in the forest where a Pharaoh was swooping around. It must have been the fire type he mentioned. The Pharaoh turned towards me and charged right at me. I shot a few fireballs at the Pharaoh, defeating the bird in a single attack. I returned to Caterpie and told him that he wouldn't need to worry about Pharaoh anymore.
Thanks, Zozo. I knew I could trust a Charizard, even if you are a fire and flying type.
Why's that? I know I'm nice, but still, how did you know you could trust me?
Because everyone knows Charizard is a heroic Pokemon who defends the weaker Pokemon from danger. You're a hero, Zozo.
I'm glad everyone thinks so highly of me, but being a Charizard doesn't make me better than anyone else. Is that what Blastoise thinks? From day 40 to day 43, I went back home to the base to check in with Bulbasaur about what we should do next regarding the Squirtle Squad. When I arrived, I noticed that Bulbasaur had added a bunch of couches to the base in order to make it look nicer. What's all this for, Bulbasaur?
I'm inviting another Bulbasaur to the base so we can talk about Flareon. I wasn't the only other Bulbasaur he was friends with.
Of course, you can have another Bulbasaur visit. I didn't know Flareon for very long, but he was a good Pokemon and had lots of friends. What happened to him wasn't fair.
The Squirtle Squad has crossed a line that we can't forgive. If we don't fight them, there will never be peace between different types of Pokemon.
You're right. We have to make it impossible for them to hurt any other Pokemon. Bulbasaur and I talked for a while longer before the other Bulbasaur showed up. I could tell the grass types wanted to be alone for a bit, so I went outside. There, I was greeted by Lapras.
Hey Zozo, have you decided to take on Blastoise and the Squirtle Squad now?
Yeah, the hate in some Pokemon goes too deep. And sadly, fighting might be the only way.
If you've chosen to fight, then you should know there are other water types that follow Blastoise's scary beliefs. There is a Gyarados back in the Crag Gardens who is particularly nasty about it.
Then I show him a thing or two. If he listens to reason, I'll spare him. But if not, I'll do whatever it takes to keep other Pokemon safe. From day 44 to day 49, I went to the Crag Gardens to seek out the nasty old Gyarados that Lapras mentioned. If Blastoise was gathering together water types to gang up on and hate other types of Pokemon, then I'd need to act quickly before he convinced too many of them. Sure enough, there was Blastoise himself. It was like he knew I'd show up here. Blastoise! I'm through letting you get away with trying to divide everyone.
I'm not the problem. Charizard's like you are. Lapras must have told you I have friends out here. The traitor.
Lapras was just trying to keep you from brainwashing more innocent water types into hating fire types. And now, your Squirtle Squad has destroyed one of my friends. Take responsibility!
No, you're a Charizard, not a Blastoise. You don't know how easy you have it. And now I'm gonna make sure you never will. Stormy, I choose you.
Blastoise withdrew from the area, leaving behind Starmie, the water and psychic-type starfish Pokemon, to face me!
Bring it, Cheapazard. You are no match for my dazzling water-type moves.
That's what you think! I'll teach you to judge me by my type, Starmie! From day 50 to day 53, I started my struggle against Starmie. This was the first time I had faced off against a fully evolved water-type Pokemon, and as I expected, it was tricky. But even so, I refused to back down in the face of one of Blastoise's followers.
Why aren't you dead yet? I thought you fire types were supposed to be pushovers for us water types.
Looks like you don't know as much about Pokemon as you think. Now check out my moves! I launched a few fireballs, then finished the job with my Fire Breath. After those fire-type attacks, Starmie was weak and unable to fight, so I decided to attempt to communicate with the water-type Pokemon. Why do you work for Blastoise in the first place, Starmie? Don't you know that he's hurting people?
Yes, of course I know that. But if I defied him, I'd be cast out by the other water-type Pokemon. I'm already part psychic, and that means I have to be loyal, or else.
But that's just living by his narrow view of what Pokemon types are, which you know is wrong.
Yes, I know. But what can I do?
You can run away for now. I'll deal with Blastoise, and then you can return to this land when there is harmony between types. Starmie understood and fled. But before they ran away, they dropped a diamond, which I could use to make a stronger weapon. I thought a bit more about how Blastoise and his beliefs were making the world a more difficult place to live in. Even other water types weren't safe. Onwards to Gyarados! From day 54 to day 57, I searched through the Karag Gardens until I found the Gyarados that Lapras had mentioned. Sure enough, Gyarados attacked me on sight with a water blast. It then bit me, so I drew my iron sword and hit back. It was clear that this Gyarados really didn't like any other type of Pokemon and just wanted to hurt me. So I showed no mercy! With a blast of my fireball and a strike from my weapon, I took the flying water Pokemon down! When I got back to my base, Lapras was waiting to congratulate me for winning the battle.
Now you've seen how far Blastoise has gone to make others believe the same terrible things he does.
Yeah, all those water Pokemon, even the Squirtles, are just copying somebody they look up to. But his ideas have been hurting them by making them hurt others, and he won't take responsibility.
That's why you're going to have to stand up to Blastoise and show the world that he's actually a loser. You have to succeed where the last Charizard failed.
There was a Charizard that fought Blastoise before me?
There was, but even defeating his rival didn't remove the hate from Blastoise's heart. Pokemon like him are never happy, even when they succeed.
I had no idea how crazy this whole thing was. Blastoise is the worst! From day 58 to day 62, I expanded the farm so it could hold even more sheep. Down below in the mines, I used my iron pickaxe to dig out some diamonds, which combined with the diamond that Starmie had given me, allowed me to craft a heckin' awesome new diamond sword. The diamonds I had left over went towards upgrading my pickaxe from iron to diamond. Once I was done mining, I saw that Bulbasaur had added a brand new fireplace outside. Whoa, Bulbasaur! You made a fireplace even though you're a grass type?
Of course! Hanging out with you and seeing how nice you are has made me totally unafraid of fire. Flareon would be so proud of me.
I guess the Pokemon who are living here had started to adapt to being around each other's types, so being comfortable around fire had become no big deal. The harmony between the types that we've been striving for feels closer every day. From day 63 to day 66, Vulpix came to visit me in the mine. She had a hint about a biome I hadn't yet explored.
The Dead Sea is home to a bunch of Pokemon I used to be friends with, before the Squirtle Squad chased me away.
You think we might be able to recruit any of your old friends?
I don't know. The Squirtle Squad is pretty unforgiving and might have already chased them away, or worse. But you should try anyway.
I went to the Dead Sea and looked around, but at first, there didn't seem to be any Pokemon there. Then, I heard a buzzing noise from behind me.
I finally found you.
I turned around in shock and saw a bug-type Pokemon, Butterfree, flying in the air. Do you know Vulpix?
Huh? Who's that?
Okay then, this is about me. Are you an enemy?
What? No, Zozo, it's me, Caterpie. I evolved into a Metapod and then a Butterfree.
Oh, good to see you. I've been so on edge lately that I guess I was expecting a fight.
You're right to be careful around here. I've heard Blastoise's base is here in the Dead Sea somewhere. I was looking for it so I could help you out.
Well, thanks, Butterfree. I guess I can help you find it while I'm here. From day 67 to day 70, Butterfree and I explored the Dead Sea for any signs of Blastoise and his Squirtle squad. I appreciate that you remembered me, even after you evolved, Butterfree.
You saved me once, and I didn't want to see another Charizard get absolutely washed by Blastoise. This time, you'll win and prove him wrong.
Like I always say, I'll do my best. We continued through the Dead Sea until we encountered a wild Eradicate, a normal-type rodent Pokemon with an abnormal need to Super Fang us into submission. But instead of running away, I used my Fire Breath to burn the Eradicate and scare him off. Yeah, run away! You don't want to fight us! There were so many Pokemon in the world that were quick to jump into a fight, probably because that's what they were used to. Pokemon battles are one thing, but all the fighting and hatred is getting us nowhere. A little bit later, Butterfree pointed out a military-looking fortress.
There it is! The Blastoise Fortress! I found it!
All right, Butterfree, well done!
This is as far as I'll go for now. Feel free to keep exploring, Charizard, but don't do anything reckless.
From day 71 to day 74, I decided to head back home to get prepared to face Blastoise while thinking about the Pokemon that had helped me make it this far. And all the subscribers like you that have helped me make it to 1 million subscribers. Remember to search ZOZO for more of my videos. Home isn't far now. Here goes. Kept on walking, but then my progress was halted by the sudden appearance of Blastoise himself.
Stormy failed to defeat you. I should have known that dual type was good for nothing.
Awful thing to say about one of your supposed friends. You're a real disgrace, Blastoise.
No, you're the disgrace here. Taste my water blast.
Blastoise hit me with a water energy blast, and it almost caused me to faint. No way! Am I still this much weaker than him?
That's what you get, Charizard. You think you're so popular, but I'm gonna make sure you face the same fate as the last Charizard.
I was still too weak, so I ran away as fast as I could. From day 75 to day 78, after my crushing defeat at the hands of Blastoise, I hid myself away inside the base in complete shame. That was my chance to take him on and prove in front of the whole world that his beliefs were wrong. If I couldn't defeat him, he'd still be out there, making trouble for other Pokemon, and fire types especially would get hurt because of me. I was still a crying Charizard when Lapras came to visit me to cheer me up.
It's okay, Zozo. Nobody expected you to be able to beat him on the first try. Plus, what's more important is the friendships we build with each other. That's the real way to stop Blastoise from winning. Come on, out of your room.
I listened to Lapras and walked outside to see the watchtowers that had been added to the base. Even now, the Pokemon who had come to live here were together to make it better. Thanks, Lapras. I just remembered what is really important. Sometime later, Bulbasaur handed me an item of mysterious power. What is this, Bulbasaur?
It's a lava bottle, but all of us here at the base made it stronger by adding our elemental energies to it. If you drink it, you'll be able to gain the power of our friendship.
Wow, I might even be able to evolve past my limits with this. I drank the lava bottle, and the power of friendship caused me to Mega Evolve into the mighty and unstoppable Mega Charizard X. I'm a Fire and Dragon type now. My Fireball upgraded even further into a Dragon Fireball, and I had 100 hearts to boot. From day 79 to day 84, I went through the Dead Sea with my new Mega form and fought against some pure Water-type Vaporeons who were loyal to Blastoise. The Dragon Fireball's power was many times stronger than the regular Fireball and hit with Dragon Energy, so it was effective against Water types too. Now this is the power of friendship. I'll be able to use this form to defeat Blastoise. I just know it. As I took stock of my surroundings, an energetic Electric-type Pokemon approached, Jolteon. Hey, nicely done. Those Vaporeons were not nice to anybody. By the way, I'm Jolteon. You might have met my brother Flareon. He was a good guy. Shame what happened. But hey, you'll do something about it, right? Right? Whoa, slow down. You talk so fast. But yeah, I'm looking to bring peace between the types by facing off against Blastoise. Oh wow, you're a good guy too, just like Flareon. Boy, that's just incredible. Flareon would have been so very proud. I hope so. A lot of people miss him, and I've been fighting this whole time to make sure what happens to him isn't going to happen again. That's excellent! Stupendous! Super duper cool! Here, take this diamond helmet. It'll guard your head from Blastoise's attacks. Jolteon gave me some diamond leggings, which I immediately equipped. This would come in handy in the next battles. Thanks, Jolteon. I consider you a friend. And soon, Pokemon of all types will be able to be friends. From day 85 to day 89, I went back to the alien fields to check in with the others at the base. I'll be so excited to hear that I met Jolteon. But when I arrived, Things were not as I had left them. The wall and watchtowers had been damaged, and the Squirtle Squad was wreaking havoc inside of the base.
Yeah, Squirtles! Take down this place! Pokemon of different types shouldn't live together!
That's not true! This base is for everyone who wants to live here, regardless of type. I hit one of the Squirtles with a Dragon Fireball, taking him down with one hit.
Oh no, it's Mega Charizard X! We gotta get out of here, boys!
Where do you think you're going? I rushed at the Squirtles and used my Diamond Sword and Fireballs to hew through their ranks. A few managed to escape, so I followed them through the alien fields until they were nowhere near the base. Looks like the coast is clear. I better return to the base and make sure nobody was hurt. While I was walking through the fields, I noticed an incredibly rare Pokemon floating around in the air. No way! Is that? It was Mew, the mythical psychic-type Pokemon that has almost never been seen before. Mew!
That's me!
Mew, the world is full of danger right now. I'm trying my best to bring harmony to the world, but it's really hard to change people's minds.
Don't worry, Zozo. I've been struggling with the same problem. I have the psychic power to talk to many people in their dreams, but I never know what to say.
Tell them this, Mew, that we should all try to be friends, no matter what type we are.
Yes, I like that. That just might work. I'll try to remind everyone what is the same, rather than what is different.
Thanks, Mew. From day 90 to day 94, I trekked back through the Dead Sea and got a better look at Blastoise's fortress. There were some formidable-looking cannons mounted on the side of the fortress that would probably blast me if I got closer. I could see Squirtle Squad patrols all across the base. But all that doesn't scare me. I'm gonna use my Mega Evolved power to bulldoze through anything in my way. A water Pokemon came careening towards my location. It wasn't a Squirtle, but it looked slightly similar, only larger and more warlike. So I ran away, but he caught up to me.
Attention! I am Commander Wartortle of the Squirtle Squad. I hear you're the upstart firebrand who is standing in the way of our glorious future.
What glorious future? All you guys do is make life harder for anyone who isn't you.
That's because water types are the best. We're strong, we're good swimmers, and we're the majority, so everyone should have to do what we want.
If what you want is to hurt others, then I can't accept your worldview. Game on, Wartortle. I hit him with my Fire Breath and drew my sword. His defensive shell would be hard to crack, but in Mega Charizard X form, I was fast and I was furious. I hammered him over and over again with melee attacks from my sword. From day 95 to day 97, I continued to chip away at Wartortle's health, but the water Pokemon was resilient. I could see his strength in battle was why he had become the commander of the Squirtle Squad. Well, that, and the fact he's completely bought into all of Blastoise's ideas about different types of Pokemon. Wartortle used a Water Blast. It wasn't as powerful as Blastoise's, but it was still super effective. He followed up with a combo of powerful melee attacks that had me barely hanging on. I guess I've got no choice. I have to use that move. I unleashed Dragon Fireballs, 4 of them. The dragon power caught Wartortle off guard and dealt enough effective damage to put him in his place.
Hey, that wasn't a fire-type move. What a cheap trick.
It's a move I learned through the power of friendship. Someone like you who think a Pokemon's type is all they can be would never understand.
Whatever, Zozo. It's not gonna matter when Blastoise brings down the rain across the land and creates a world for water types and only water types.
You mean he's even willing to do that? I thought Blastoise was bad enough, but he really can't live in a world where anyone is a different type?
It'll be a perfect world. I wish I could have seen it, but I'll settle for that horrified look on your face. Goodbye, Zozo. Enjoy your last few days alive.
Wartortle passed on, but he was oddly proud of himself. It was sad that he had bought into his hate so completely, brainwashed until the end. Now that I knew what Blastoise was planning to do, I went to warn the others about the coming flood. On day 98, I said my goodbyes to my friends who were living on my base as I prepared to go and take down the Blastoise who'd caused all this trouble. First, Lapras.
You can do this, Zozo. Over these last 100 days, you've proven yourself to be a true hero. You will unite the Pokemon world.
And then, Vulpix.
You can heal the Great Divide, Zozo. I believe in you. You can right the wrongs of this imperfect world.
And finally, the first ever friend I'd met here, Bulbasaur.
Do it for Flareon, Zozo. It's what he would have wanted.
On day 99, I made my way back to the Dead Sea. I needed to conserve every ounce of my strength if I wanted to defeat Blastoise and his agenda of hate. But when I reached the outside of Blastoise's fortress, I saw a large gang of Squirtles. This was extremely bad news. If I fought those Squirtles, I'd lose energy and be weakened in my fight against Blastoise. Oh, this is terrible. I don't know what to do. That's when I heard a fluttering sound and saw Butterfree floating next to me.
This is where I may be of assistance, Zozo. You helped me, now I'll help you. Let me distract the Squirtles while you take on Blastoise. It'll all be worth it if you can bring peace to the land.
Thank you, Butterfree. I'll make sure that your risk won't be in vain. On day 100, Butterfree rushed in and distracted the Squirtles, while I entered the fortress and came face to face with Blastoise for the first time in quite some time.
Finally, you nasty little fire type! You've grown the courage to come and fight me! This is the final battle. Whoever wins will decide the fate of all the Pokémon in the overworld.
I'm not here to fight you, Blastoise.
What? This is impossible. It must be some kind of dirty fire type trick. You just want me to let my guard down so you can burn me to a crisp.
Don't be silly, Blastoise. Aren't you tired of all this fighting, all this hate? Haven't we both lost too many people?
But, I'm a water type. That makes me better. If I don't have that, what do I have?
You can have anything you want, Blastoise. You can decide who you are, not just what you are. We can all be our own people and be friends. You just need to let all this hate and pain go. Blastoise thought about it for a long moment before sighing.
I'm so sorry for everything I've done. Can you ever forgive me?
I can try, and you can try too. Come back to my base with me, Blastoise. We'll get it all smoothed over.
Thank you, Zozo. You haven't just saved everyone else, you've saved me too.
Just like that, the overworld was saved. Not with violence, but with kindness and understanding. On day 1, I spawned into the middle of the Black Forest as HEROBRINE, Minecraft's spookiest phantom. Well, a baby version of HEROBRINE anyway. But why am I here? I was on some kind of altar with a sinister robed figure standing and staring at me.
Yes, my plan worked. This is the growing sign that my powers are growing.
Plan? Powers? Who are you? And what's going on here?
You don't know the name of your master, boy. I am Dorian, the drowned necromancer, master of the undead. And you are my servant.
Servant? I didn't sign up for that. I don't even want to be a ghost. I want to have a body.
What you want doesn't matter. Without me, you wouldn't exist. And unless I choose to give you a body in the next 100 days, your spirit will fade away into nothingness. Bow to me, boy.
Never! And my name is Zozo. With all my might, I jumped out of the altar and ran off into the forest as fast as I could. I didn't want anything to do with Dorian, the drowned necromancer, and his plan to get more power. I need to work on my plan, getting my body back. When I was convinced that I'd lost Dorian, I hid under a tree for the rest of the day. As a restless spirit, I couldn't even get any rest. Being HEROBRINE sure isn't easy. On day 2, I decided to further explore the Black Forest. It was dark and spooky, the exact kind of place that a scary spirit like me would be summoned. If I wasn't a ghost myself, I'd be afraid of running into a ghost around here. And, oh geez, I only have 5 hearts. I thought ghosts were meant to be more durable than this. But I didn't have time to wallow in self-pity for long, because a gang of frightening dreadliches emerged out of the trees. Why is everyone around here so eerie?
We serve our glorious master, Dorian, the drowned necromancer. He gave us new life, so we owe everything to him.
Oh, that's just my luck! And I guess you want to kidnap me and take me back to him for his sinister plans?
We didn't expect you to already know this. I guess it saves us some explanation time at least. In the name of Dorian, we commandeer your soul!
The Dreadliches punched me. With no weapons and very low health, I didn't have any hope of fighting back against them. Instead, I turned around and ran as quickly as I could. My soul, my rules! The Black Forest seemed dark and infinite, so at least it wasn't difficult to lose those nasty liches. The downside was that I'd gotten lost myself, and as I wandered through the forest, getting more and more creeped out, I ran into a siren.
Oh, another ghost! How exciting!
Wait, you can see me?
Of course I can see you. I'm a psychic. Sarah the Psychic Siren, General Services. Pleased to meet you.
So, you're not going to try to steal my soul like everyone else I've met?
Steal your soul? Heck no. I'm a huge supporter of spirits' rights. Come with me, my new ghost friend. I'll introduce you to my boss.
Finally, having met someone nice, I followed Sarah the Psychic Siren through the trees. On day 3, Sarah led me through the forest until we came upon a small cottage. A sign outside read, "Psychic Services for all ghosts." Wow, I had no idea this kind of place existed, Sarah.
There are more ghosts in this forest than you think. It's got to be someone's job to take care of them and help them along their way.
Suddenly, the front door opened and a geomancer stepped out.
Zozo, meet my boss, Jerry the Geomancer. Jerry, I found Zozo here wandering through the Black Forest like a restless spirit. He needs our help.
Is that a fact? It's nice to meet you, Zozo. Tell me, how did you find yourself in this difficult situation?
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. I was summoned and bound by this guy called Dorian, the drowned necromancer, and he told me that if I didn't serve him, I'd disappear in 100 days. It's got me pretty worried.
That's concerning. I've heard of many cases caused by this Dorian fellow, a truly dangerous customer. I'm gonna put Sarah on your case. She'll come and help you build a base and get situated. And together, we'll get your body back.
Thank you, Jerry and Sarah. I'm feeling better already.
Let's go, Zozo.
With the mission to get my body back decided on, Sarah and I journeyed further into the forest to get started. From day 4 to day 5, Sarah and I explored the Black Forest until we discovered an area with a nice, flat terrain. So, Sarah, what do you think we should do first?
I'd say cut down a few of these trees. That'll give you some of the wood you need to build a crafting table and a wooden pickaxe.
Great idea, Sarah! I cut down a tree and made a crafting table and a wooden pickaxe. From there, I mined enough stone to also create a stone pickaxe, axe, and a stone sword. It's difficult to hold this stuff, being a ghost, but I'll try my best.
That's the spirit, Zozo.
I cleared enough space in the forest to start laying down a basic base, collecting some extra wood along the way. It started off with a pretty basic setup, with just a room for me and a room for Sarah.
Oh, this is a nice setup, Zozo. I guess living with you technically means we're living in a haunted house.
Yeah, I guess so. Say, this is probably a pointless question to ask, but is it possible for ghosts to eat? Because I'm getting really hungry right now.
You're in luck, Zozo. I have an enchanted apple that ghosts can eat in my inventory right now. Enjoy!
Sarah gave me the apple, and I ate it. Instantly, I felt my power starting to grow. I had 20 hearts now, and I developed a new ghost ability, warping from place to place.
This is fascinating, Zozo. I feel so lucky that I'm getting to see it.
From day 6 to day 8, I went wandering around the nearby Twilight Valley, looking for more rare enchanted food. As a ghost, my ghostly hunger was really difficult to satisfy, and Sarah didn't know how to enchant more food. It kinda sucks to be a ghost. I still have a lot of the downsides of being human, plus a bunch of new downsides. But while I was wandering around the valley, I heard some commotion and ran in to see what was happening. Maybe I can help someone. In the distance, I saw a Vindicator Chef, one of the most powerful types of chefs in the world, being attacked by a nasty gang of skeleton vanguards. A chef, huh? What a stroke of good luck. I used my new ghost power to warp over there and pulled out my stone sword. With all my focus and determination, I fought all of the skeleton vanguards until none remained. It was only me and the Vindicator Chef.
You saved my life, sir. I owe you a great debt. What is your name?
I'm Zozo.
Zozo, a strong name for a strong hero. I am Victor, Victor the Vindicator Chef. And if you do a favor for me, I will repay your kindness by any means necessary.
That sounds like a good deal. What kind of favor would you like me to do?
Follow me, and I'll show you.
I followed Victor the Vindicator Chef deeper into the Twilight Valley, excited to get him on my side. From day 9 to day 10, Victor took me to a clearing in the valley where a huge mutant skeleton was waiting. Oh geez, that thing is a monster. You want me to defeat a mutant skeleton?
I believe in you, Zozo. Seeing you take down all those skeleton vanguards makes me completely confident in your ability to slay this beast. Go forth!
Thanks for the vote of confidence, Victor. I steeled myself as best as I could and warped over to the mutant skeleton. It immediately started attacking me, and I started attacking it back. but my attacks were barely doing anything, and its attacks were taking way too many hearts off of me. I gotta get out of here. I warped away from the fight and ran back to Victor, telling him the disappointing news.
Oh, well, I'm sure you tried your best nonetheless. I suppose we'll go our separate ways.
No, hear me out. I could really use a Vindicator chef back at my base. You're the only type of chef who can cook the type of enchanted food I can eat. How about you stay at my base, and I promise I'll come back and defeat this mutant skeleton when I'm strong enough.
That sounds like a good deal to me. Lead the way, dear Zozo.
From day 11 to day 12, I returned to the base with Victor the Vindicator chef. I know it isn't much, but it's home. I'm going to make you a room.
Thank you, Zozo. I'll get working on a little something of my own in the meantime.
I got to work gathering up new materials and started building a new little bungalow for the Vindicator chef to stay in while crashing at my base. What do you think, Victor?
This is a nice little room, Zozo. Thank you. And you can come and see what I made for you too. Go and check your room.
I walked over and saw that Victor had made a high-end kitchen in my base. Perfect for cooking up the kind of enchanted food I could eat. This is amazing, Victor. I'm getting hungry just looking at it.
But the kitchen is only one side of the equation, Zozo. I need some good quality ingredients. Perhaps we should build a farm on the base.
That's another excellent idea. I decided to build a little enclosure and went out into the Black Forest where I found a bunch of chickens. It wasn't hard to herd them back to my base. I can taste the eggs and fried chicken already. When I returned to my room to relax, I found that Sarah the Psychic Siren was waiting for me with some new information.
I did some research into Dorian the Drowned Necromancer, Zozo, and found some interesting information. He used to be a flesh and blood necromancer, terrorizing the overworld by raising the undead, until one day the people rose up and drowned him in the ocean. Somehow, Dorian returned, and he's been acting on his evil plans ever since.
Wow, this guy is really scary. From day 13 to day 15, I returned to Sarah once again and asked her what she thought I should do in order to get my body back.
Right now, Zozo, knowledge is power. The more we can find out, the more likely we'll be able to help you get your body back. Head out to the Twilight Valley and see what you can find out.
That's an excellent idea, Sarah. I journeyed out into the Twilight Valley, which reminded me of the time that I'd failed to defeat the mutant skeleton. Why is nothing ever easy around here? But my difficulties were only just getting started. One of the Dreadliches who worked for Dorian the Drowned Necromancer came from behind me, ready to fight me.
I serve my glorious master, Dorian the
Drowned Necromancer, yeah, I get it. Let's just fight.
Fine, but way to take all the fun out of this.
I battled the Dreadlich with all my might. He was a formidable opponent, but in the end, I defeated him all the same. And that gave me the XP I needed to level up again. I got bigger, stronger, rose up to 40 hearts, and gained a new offensive power, Lightning Strikes. Finally, some actually cool ghost powers. From day 16 to day 19, I found my way into the wooded Badlands, where I continued my search for any useful information that could help me defeat Dorian the Drowned Necromancer and get my body back. During the first couple days of my search through the Badlands, I didn't find anything, but on day 19, I happened upon a dusty, old book hidden out of the way. Yay, reading! I love that! But it wasn't just a fun reading experience that would engage my imagination, it was also a book that contained some critical information about Dorian the Drowned Necromancer. It read, like all cardinal undead, the Drowned Necromancer has a beard of ice. Therefore, he must spend most of his time in the freezing cold, and he has a severe weakness to fire. So that's two useful pieces of information. Dorian has a weakness to fire, and he must be hiding somewhere cold. I can't wait to tell Sarah about this. But my celebration was short-lived, as suddenly a couple of Dreadliches ambushed me, trying to get revenge for their friend I defeated back in the Twilight Valley. Thankfully this time, I had the power of ghostly lightning in my hands. I fired some lightning bolts at the Dreadliches until they were destroyed. I'm getting my body back no matter what. From day 20 to day 22, I continued through the wooded Badlands, feeling strong and confident about all the information I'd found recently. I ran into a nasty gang of hungry spiders and used my new lightning ability to zap them. These spiders are hardly a threat to me now. I decided that now was the perfect time to upgrade my gear too. I searched until I found an underground cavern and looked around until I found some iron ore. I mined the ore and smelted it into some ingots, creating an iron sword and an iron pickaxe. Now I'm stronger than ever. Come to think of it, I have some unfinished business to take care of now. Remembering the debt I owed to Victor the Vindicator Chef, I returned to the Twilight Valley and hunted down that scary mutant skeleton I'd agreed to defeat. When I saw the mutant skeleton, I first unleashed a lightning strike, stunning it. Then I ran in and struck it again and again with my new iron sword until it was no more. A HEROBRINE always pays his debts. From day 23 to day 26, I returned to the base to let Victor the Vindicator Chef know that I had paid my debt to him by defeating the mutant skeleton.
I can see that you've gotten strong, just like you promised you would.
That's right, and I plan on becoming even stronger, Victor. They'll start calling me Victor too, because I won so many battles.
But that's my name, Zozo. Won't that get confusing?
True. I guess I'll just stick with Zozo. After my talk with Victor, I went to the underground cavern where I could mine for more iron. With my iron pickaxe, I was able to mine the iron ore in no time. In the same area, I found a treasure chest with a bunch of iron ingots that I could use to craft a full set of iron armor. I'm like a ghostly knight. I went back above and went to see Victor the Vindicator Chef again. He said he had some news to share with me.
Zozo, I've made an addition to the base that I think you might really enjoy.
He showed me a relaxation room that was perfect for ghosts like me. You did a really good job on this, Victor. We ghosts might not be able to rest in peace, but at least now we can relax about it.
It was no trouble at all, friend.
From day 27 to day 31, I was out exploring the same area of the wooded Badlands where I defeated the Dreadliches. I came across a farmer who was jumping for joy at the sight of me. That's not the usual reaction people have for HEROBRINE, so I went over to ask why he was in such a good mood. What's got you so happy, Mr. Farmer?
It's because of you, Zozo. Those Dreadliches were a real snake in my boot. But ever since you defeated them, I've had no worries.
Glad to hear it. Slaying evil monsters and improving lives is totally my thing.
Well, there is one small worry. When those Dreadliches were still around, one of them scared off all my sheep. I needed them for wool.
I'll help you out. You can even come live at my base if you'd like.
That sounds peachy keen, Zozo.
I led the farmer back to the base, then set off through the Black Forest to find some sheep so I could gather the wool that the farmer was looking for. Taming them was easy enough, and soon there was enough wool to go around. Afterwards, I decided to do some decorating. These HEROBRINE banners will show the mobs that this base is home to one mighty ghost. With the decorations done, I found Sarah the Psychic Siren waiting inside.
There you are, Zozo. You have to leave the base with me now. It's an emergency.
What's going on?
Come on, I'll explain when we get there.
From day 32 to day 35, I left the base with Sarah and traveled through the Black Forest. Along the way, we were ambushed by a small gang of Dreadliches. Boy, does this feel familiar.
I should have seen this coming. I am a psychic after all.
We serve our glorious master, Dorian the Drowned Necromancer.
They really do say it every time, don't they, Sarah?
They sure do.
Hey, don't diss our catchphrase, or we'll have to get mean. Well, meaner.
The Dreadliches began to attack, so I zapped them with my ghost lightning strikes. None of the Dreadliches I had fought before had seen that ability, so it took them by surprise, and I was able to quickly defeat them. We traveled on, and I soon noticed that Sarah and I had come to the place where Jerry the Geomancer had resided before. This time, it was completely destroyed, and the area was full of Dorian's Dreadliches. Hey, this is Jerry's place. Get out of here!
It looks like we were too late, Zozo. This is exactly what I foresaw in my psychic vision.
I knew what Sarah meant when I saw Jerry backed against a corner. He had tried to fight the Dreadliches on his own, but he was about to die.
Zozo, is that you? It seems I won't be able to see you get your body back.
Jerry, I'm sorry. We got here as fast as we could.
Don't worry about me. Dorian will surely pay for this. Make sure you and Sarah protect each other.
We will. Rest well, Jerry. I was so enraged by Jerry's death that I destroyed the Dreadliches with my lightning strikes until there were none left in the area. From day 36 to day 39, I made a return trip back to the Twilight Valley. It hadn't changed much since the other time I was here, but there was a fisherman at the local pond who I hadn't seen before. Hello there, I'm Zozo.
Well, hi there, Zozo. I'm fishing. Oh, I'm just kidding. My name is Fred the Fisherman, and I could use a hand.
Sure, Fred. What seems to be the problem?
I know I'd be able to catch more fish if I had some twilight worms as bait, but they're all way up there in the higher parts of the valley. Can you go get a couple for me?
You can count on me, Fred. I climbed up the terrain of the Twilight Valley, enjoying the view along the way. With all that happened recently, it was nice to gather my thoughts for a moment. The moment didn't last long though, because I was attacked by a giant. Even though it was big, it had gotten the drop on me. I took a few swings with my iron sword to make it think twice, then I warped back a short distance and hit it with a few lightning strikes. I closed the distance back into melee range and finished it off with my sword. Soon after, I returned to Fred the fisherman with the bait he was looking for. Happy fishing, hope you catch a big one.
Thanks. I only came here to the valley because the fishing in the ocean ain't that good anymore. Ever since that drowned necromancer rose from the sea, people have been afraid that he might have left a curse on it.
He is really evil, that Dorian. A curse on the place he was drowned. Sure sounds like him. From day 40 to day 43, I was looking at the base after coming home from my short journey and noticed that it had been redecorated to look even spookier, which for ghosts and spirits is incredibly cool. This place looks amazing.
I predicted that you would like the changes, Zozo.
Sarah, was this you? I do like it, but what was the occasion?
I wanted to invite some of my siren sisters to come live at the base. The new look is so they'll feel right at home. Is that all right with you?
Of course! If the other sirens are anything like you, then we'll all get along nicely. A while later, the other sirens that Sarah had mentioned arrived at the base. It was right at the time she had predicted that they would arrive. Hello everyone! Make yourself at home. Friends of Sarah are friends of mine.
Thanks for being so understanding, Zozo. Living at this base together always works out when we compromise.
Sure, the more the merrier. Soon after I greeted the sirens, the farmer who was also living at the base approached me so that we could talk.
Well, hey there, Zozo. You're just the ghost I was looking to see. I have another job for you, if you're willing.
Of course, I'm always willing to help a farmer in need.
I heard from some other farmers that there is a mutant enderman running around and ruining everyone's crops. If you could take care of that mob, you'd be helping farmers everywhere.
You can count on me. From day 44 to day 49, I took up the farmer on his request and traveled to the Taiga Mountain. That mutant enderman who was causing problems had to be around here somewhere. But it wasn't just mobs I had to worry about. Dorian was here on the mountain too, alongside a mutant zombie.
Well, 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 if it isn't the HEROBRINE who defied me. How has the spirit been faring? You're probably close to fading away into nothingness by now.
You wish, Dorian. My ghost form has only gotten more powerful, and I will use everything I have to get my body back.
Easier said than done, Zozo. You really think getting your body back will be so simple? I was counting on your ghost to become a vengeful spirit.
Wait, what do you mean?
Do you think the restless dead can return so easily to the way they used to be? Why do you think I still carry the curse of undeath after the villagers drowned me? It's because there is no way back to life for us evil spirits.
It can't be. Have I been getting stronger for nothing?
Yes, embrace your rage and frustration. Become the monster HEROBRINE and forget about reclaiming your body. My undead will help you become what you are meant to be.
Dorian, the drowned necromancer, disappeared into a fog, leaving behind the mutant zombie to battle me. From day 50 to day 53, I started my battle against the mutant zombie that had been sent against me. My lightning strikes were proving effective, but because of what Dorian, the drowned necromancer, had said, I was starting to get worried about using my ghost powers. I switched my sword and hacked away at the mutant zombie. I didn't use my warp or my lightning strike. It made the fight a lot harder, but I had to believe that I was more than just the monster HEROBRINE. I am going to get my body back, no matter what. The mutant zombie was defeated after a big struggle, and it dropped a spellbook once it was defeated. I took a moment to examine it, and I saw a flashback to Dorian's revival. He had just emerged from the ocean as a drowned necromancer and was looking to get revenge on the people of the world for what they did to him, casting down lightning strikes in his wrath. He researched the legends of other powerful undead beings and eventually came across the story of HEROBRINE. It looked like he didn't just steal my body to make me into a ghost. He wanted to make me just like the dangerous and evil HEROBRINE from the stories. Maybe then he'd finally have someone else as tortured and wicked as himself to hang out with. From day 54 to day 57, I resumed the farmer's quest to stop the mutant Enderman in the Taiga Mountain. I found the mob in the process of a rampage, and with some nervousness, I approached. Can I actually defeat this mutant Enderman without my ghost powers? The mutant Enderman sprinted at me and swiped at me with its powerful limbs. My hearts were getting low, and I was still weakened from the fight with the mutant zombie.
Is that all the great HEROBRINE can do against me? I thought you were more powerful. That's what the story said.
Believe everything you hear. I may not be the same HEROBRINE that is feared by everyone, but I am HEROBRINE myself. When I said it out loud, it made sense. I could use my ghost powers because I was the one in control of them, and I was using them to help. Take this!
Ow! Lightning strikes hurt! I thought I could be the scariest, but now I'm done for!
My ghost powers made short work of the mutant Enderman. He dropped an item upon his defeat, which turned out to be an antler headdress. With this headgear equipped, all of my attacks would gain greater knockback. What a neat upgrade! I returned to the farmer at the base and told him that I had defeated the mutant Enderman.
It seems that I can always count on you, Zozo. As a reward for getting rid of that mutant Enderman, I'll tell you a secret about Dorian the drowned necromancer.
What do you know about him?
I was there when the villagers drowned him in the ocean. His last words were a curse to everyone. He said, "Soon you'll all feel the loneliness that I have felt."
What did he mean?
I don't know, but he probably had something real evil in mind when he said it.
From day 58 to day 62, I managed to herd some more chickens into the base just to make sure we had a big enough food source for everyone. Then, I made my way deep into the underground cavern so I could do some mining for better materials. I used my iron pickaxe to dig until I struck diamonds and mined myself enough to create a diamond pickaxe. I equipped the new tool and kept mining diamonds until I had enough to craft a diamond sword, leggings, a chestplate, and boots. This new weapon and armor would serve me well in battle against the undead forces of Dorian the drowned necromancer. With my first pieces of diamond armor and gear in tow, I returned to the base, and there were now floating lanterns of ghost lights around the base. I even found that a new room had been added. Sarah had been hard at work making our haunted house into a haunted home.
This is just my way of saying thanks, Zozo. You've really been a friend to everyone after we lost Jerry the Geomancer. I feel like I could stay here for a very long time.
Thanks, Sarah. That means a lot too, because for ghosts like us, a really long time might mean eternity. From day 63 to day 66, I was down in the underground cavern making some expansions to the mine when Victor the Vindicator Chef came to see me.
Hey Zozo, I heard that you were still looking for your original body. There's a biome nearby where you may not have looked yet.
Oh really? Well, I'm glad you thought to tell me about it, Victor. I went back above ground and traveled to the place that Victor had told me about, the Wooded Badlands. I looked around for any signs of necromancy magic or a gravestone, anything that might lead me to my body. That's when I noticed a scary Gorgon sneaking up on me.
Boo!
Hey, don't say boo to me. I'm a ghost. That's our thing.
Sorry. I thought it would be fun to startle you. I didn't mean any offense.
It seemed like she meant it. That was a relief, because I thought I would have to fight this Gorgon. You're a lot nicer than you look.
I could say the same thing about you. You're the HEROBRINE, aren't you?
Sorta. I'm the new HEROBRINE. My name is Zozo.
Zozo, huh? I'm Morgan. You could still help me with a HEROBRINE quest, right?
I think so. What did you have in mind?
Oh, you agreed! This way, a new ghost friend.
From day 67 to day 70, I followed Morgan the Gorgon through the Wooded Badlands to find out more about this HEROBRINE quest she had mentioned.
So, aren't you curious about this HEROBRINE quest of ours?
Yes, actually. I was waiting for you to tell me more.
Well, according to the scary stories about HEROBRINE, he is supposed to be the most powerful undead because of his ability to rebuild and destroy.
Rebuild and destroy?
Yes, HEROBRINE can destroy and rebuild the world however he wants, and anyone who is able to control him would be able to gain the same power.
I don't have that kind of power.
Not yet.
That's why we're on this quest. You need to regain your power by facing down another being that HEROBRINE fought. That's why we're headed to the lair of the Dread Beast.
We soon arrived at a part of the wooded Badlands where the dangerous mob, known as the Dread Beast, was known to have her lair. Come on out, Dread Beast. I am Zozo the HEROBRINE, and I challenge you. The Dread Beast soon emerged and roared with anger.
You think you're HEROBRINE? Please, I battled the real HEROBRINE in the past. You'll never be as powerful a ghost as him.
We'll see. The Dread Beast charged in, but I knocked her back with a couple slices from my diamond sword, combined with the increased knockback from the antler headdress. She tried to resist and charge at me, but I warped out of the way and brought down lightning strikes until she was defeated. From day 71 to day 74, I thanked Morgan the Gorgon for helping me learn more about the HEROBRINE from the stories and left her to travel further across the wooded Badlands in search of my body. I was starting to get the hang of this new spooky HEROBRINE story, and I was also starting to think it was going to end up being a pretty good one. But it's not the only story that you can find on this channel, so you should look for my other videos by typing ZO into the search bar. I arrived at a rundown structure in the middle of the wooded Badlands. I thought it maybe had something to do with how my old body might have lived. Yeah, I can feel it. I was definitely here before I was a ghost.
But that's what you are now, so why try to go back?
Dorian, it's you.
Still chasing after the past, Zozo? You will become my HEROBRINE, and I will use your powers to rebuild a world where everyone is as lonely as I've been.
That's a terrible thing to do, and I won't let you get away with it. I tried to lightning strike him, but he was immune to the damage. When I swung my diamond sword, he struck back with his own weapon, doing far more damage than I could do to him.
Fool, you actually thought I wasn't prepared to fight you. You'll get a bit stronger, but your ghost form will still fade away. Before then, I do hope you help me achieve my lonely world. What else do you have to continue on for?
Dorian, the drowned necromancer, spared my ghostly life, probably because I was still important to his plans. One thing's for sure, I need to get stronger than he ever imagined I could be. From day 75 to day 78, I kept thinking about how I should face Dorian the drowned necromancer. He had been a restless spirit for a lot longer than me, and maybe I'd have to become just as evil as him to have a fighting chance. But I don't want to be evil. I don't want to be that kind of HEROBRINE. Seeing that I was down, Sarah the psychic siren came to my room to cheer me up.
Zozo, I foresaw that you would be sad, so I made sure to give the basin an almost invisible enchanted mist so it'd be hidden from attacks. That way, nobody will disturb us without us expecting it.
That's really good, Sarah. Thank you.
Let me tell you, Zozo, in my professional opinion as a psychic, I don't predict that you'll turn evil.
I hope I can live up to your predictions. I went outside for a bit to get some air, and shortly after, Victor the Vindicator Chef joined me with a fresh new magic cake that he had just baked.
Give this a try, Zozo. I think it might just pick you up.
Thanks, Victor. I gobbled up the cake and felt a transformation coming on. I doubled in size, and my heart gauge increased to contain 80 hearts. Victor sure knows how to cook. From day 79 to day 84, I went back to the wooded Badlands to see if I could face Dorian the drowned necromancer again. I knew this whole thing would be over if I could just shut him down. Dorian wasn't here himself, but it seemed like he might have used some of his necromancy to mobilize a few random skeletons to fight me. With my lightning strikes, I was easily able to blow away these weak undead. I wasn't satisfied with the amount of searching I'd done here, so I examined the structure more closely. That's when I noticed doors that led to a dwelling where a pink pixie was staying. Hello there, I'm Zozo. Do you know anything about who used to live here?
Yeah, I do. There was a village here that was destroyed by storms, a blizzard, and a thunderstorm. There was only one surviving villager, and he was really alone.
Was that villager HEROBRINE?
Yeah, this is the place where HEROBRINE's story began. The land has been cursed, and plants have never grown as well here since.
It's just like that curse that Dorian put on the ocean. I've got to put the hero in HEROBRINE and find a way to lift both of those curses.
This may help you in your journey, Zozo.
Pixie gave me a netherite helmet, an extremely durable piece of armor that would certainly give me a fighting chance the next time I saw Dorian. From day 85 to day 89, I returned to my base, excited to show my friends the awesome netherite helmet I'd been given. Instead, I found a bunch of dreadliches invading my base, trying to find and attack those same friends. Oh, I can't let this slide. I don't want to overuse my ghost powers, but for the sake of my friends, it's a risk worth taking. I started firing lightning blasts left and right, destroying them quickly and dropping their morale. The rest saw my skills and took off running, but I wasn't going to let an attack on my own base slide. I came running after them, but while chasing them, I ran into a troll who seemed to be crying. As much as I wanted revenge, I didn't want to leave a clearly distressed guy on the hook like that. So I asked him what was wrong.
I've been working on my novel, but I can't seem to get through it. I'm losing confidence in myself.
You can do it, Mr. Troll. Just believe in yourself and try to get past the first draft. I'll be excited to read it when it's done.
Thank you, kind stranger. I'll never forget this.
From day 90 to day 94, I followed the surviving Dreadliches into the snowy plains. It was freezing. I remembered what I had read about Dorian before. He needs to be cold. He must be hiding somewhere out here. I'm on his territory now. But I couldn't afford to worry about that just yet. I needed to track down and defeat those liches. Eventually, I caught up to them. They must have gotten exhausted and stopped. I finally had my chance. You guys are gonna pay for attacking my base.
Oh, Zozo, you're so naive. Dorian knew everything. He predicted exactly what you'd do. And now you're going to get destroyed.
You've never been able to destroy me before. What makes you guys think you're gonna be able to do it now?
Oh, it won't be us, Zozo. It'll be him.
A huge, terrifying Dread Knight stepped out, and the Dreadliches all ran off. He must have been one of Dorian's most dangerous henchmen yet. Even as a ghost, I think I'm gonna ache after this one. From day 95 to day 97, I went head-to-head with the Dread Knight. And he was as fast and as powerful as I'd feared. And as the battle went on, I was worried I might be doomed until I got a second wind and fought back with all of my might. Soon enough, I defeated even the terrible Dread Knight, the deadliest of Dorian the Drowned Necromancer's henchmen. I'm stronger than I've ever been, but does this mean I'm doomed to become evil and end up serving that monster? But my worried thoughts were interrupted by a new discovery. When the Dread Knight was defeated, he dropped a notebook containing instructions direct from the enemy. Destroy Zozo. He is unworthy of the title of HEROBRINE. Return to the ice cave when you are done. If you need anything extra to finish the job, check the chest behind the broken boulder. So now I knew that Dorian was hiding in some kind of ice cave, and that note about the chest really intrigued me. I searched the snowy plain until I found a boulder that looked half shattered, and then I found a chest behind it. And inside the chest was a battle axe. This belongs to Dorian. I can't wait to give it back to him. On day 98, I returned to my base to tell everyone who'd helped me how all of this was going to unfold. For all I knew, it might be my final chance to speak with them. Guys, I wanted to thank all of you for how much you've helped me. I never could have gotten this far without you. This final part is so dangerous that I have to do it alone. Dorian is more powerful than ever, but I'd rather be destroyed than let him use me as an evil tool.
There's no way he'd destroy you, Zozo. You're too powerful and too good-hearted. And in the end, the good guys always win, and the bad guys always lose.
Hear, hear. After you defeat him, Zozo, I'll bake a mighty cake that we can all enjoy.
And I'll farm all the best quality ingredients. You got this, Zozo. I have full confidence in you.
You're all the best. I'm gonna defeat him for you, all of you, and I'm going to get my body back. On day 99, I ventured back to the snowy plains with everything I needed to finally take on the big, bad beast of a necromancer who stole my body. It's time for me to show you the door, Dorian. Didn't actually take me that long to find the ice cave that was Dorian's hideout because I spotted a large guard force of Dreadliches waiting outside, keeping a lookout. Talk about an undead giveaway. There were so many of them, and they looked better armed and armored than usual. Dorian must have known I was coming and put them here to slow me down before the final battle. It's an ingenious plan. What can I do?
I think I may be of service.
I turned and saw that Morgan the Gorgon was behind me. Morgan, what are you doing here?
Sorry for following you. I was gonna yell boo again, but it didn't seem like the right moment. I feel like I've been missing out on all the action. Let me distract these undead creeps, and you can go in there and take down the big bad guy.
Sounds like a great plan, Morgan. Let's do this. On day 100, while Morgan was distracting the Dreadliches outside, I entered the ice cave and found Dorian the drowned necromancer waiting for me.
You made it through my servants. How?
It's because I don't have servants. I have friends.
Oh, spare me all that self-righteous foolishness. You can't talk your way out of serving me. I brought you back. I bound you. You belong to me, Zozo, and nothing will change that.
I'm going to keep fighting, no matter what, for myself and my friends. And when I'm done, all you're going to be is a bad memory.
Then let's see. Time to go back to the void, silly little ghost.
I unleashed everything I had onto Dorian, not giving up, even as he fought back against me. I could tell as the battle went on, he was getting weaker and weaker. I pulled out the battle axe that Dorian had left for his Dread Knight to destroy me. I'm sure the void will welcome you, Dorian. And with one more strike, Dorian was no more. There was a tremendous flash, and in the moment that Dorian was destroyed, my body was returned to me. Wow, it feels amazing to be back.